just don't know what to do. 'Cause baby, yes, I've cried for you. The time that we have spent together, riding through this English weather. And as the pressure builds, so does the tension between you and me. Time has gone so fast, watching the leaves fall.
Yeah. Okay, so we're ready to welcome all the feedback.
Better? No, I'm still hearing.
Okay, Maria, so Frank should be coming in any second now.
Hi, Frank.
Hello there, everyone.
What are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and I'm told you just enjoyed lunch, so everybody's in a good mood, I assume.
Well, we're glad to have you here. Congratulations on making it this far, top 60 of Free Electrons 2024. That's already quite an achievement. So we have a room full of utility partners today here, gathered to listen to you pitch. So whenever you're ready, please share your screen, and we're ready to listen to you.
Excellent, I'll do that right away.
Best of luck.
Thank you. All right. So yeah, I'm Frank, and I'm here to present Reblade, as we are bringing to market a drone with an onboard mini factory that can repair the eroded and worn down turbine blades, which is a huge and growing problem. We are helping to transition from fossil fuel into green energy faster, and the market of wind energy is growing really fast, and so is the maintenance of these newly installed wind turbines to more than 200 billion in the coming years. We are focusing on the most costly problem of maintenance, where we take up in the lifetime of a turbine 29% of costs. And also within that, the subcategory of minor maintenance, where blades is positioned, takes up the biggest subcategory. And again, once you move into blades, there are 5 or 6 types of different repairs and maintenance. And erosion as a single issue takes up 55% of that. So we're well positioned to bring customer value. Once it's handled, the leading edge erosion, because you have to, it's because it eats through the protective layer, which is designed to stand against this wear and tear and then to be restored. But once you go through it, you eat into the structural integrity of the blades. It happens to all blades, and you then have to go up. And in 99% of cases, you do that manually still. And these are specialists that are in shortage and in high demand. So we are bringing in a scalable solution that can reduce the time used for these repairs by 90%, from roughly 4 to 4.5 days to just 4.5 hours, currently at a target of 9 hours. So we still have 4.5 hours to go, but it's easy to use and it's automated, and therefore it can be used by non-specialists. Our competitors are, of course, the manual approach, but there have been tech solutions in the market, but they are slow because they aren't focused on leading edge erosion, but multi-tools. And they replicate the problem of needing specialists, and they can't be used offshore. They're simply too heavy. At the same time, the problem is growing worse with the leading edge erosion because of the size, making turbines bigger, and the offshore focus, where the blades erode much faster. So we're bringing in a drone this year, what we are calling a collaborative drone that works in conjunction, in collaboration with the rope access teams. And then a version next year where you can stay on the ground, no pin lock needed. You just break the turbine blades in the right position and you stand on the ground and you repair with this drone. We're already on contract for the first 12 drones for 9.6 million euros of delivery, and we have interested parties in our sales pipeline where we have shortened a sales cycle by doing pilot project. We are a growing team, 2 founders originally, and hiring globally from Ukraine, Russia, India, Malaysia, UK, wherever we find the best, because Denmark is a small country where we can't necessarily find the pool of candidates that we want. We are centered mainly around R&D, of course, at this stage still, and have external partners that help us with non-core development in parallel. So we would like to offer a process over 4 to 5 months for a pilot project where we do a factory acceptance test, moving into a site acceptance test, and then commence on the pilot project leading up to commercial usage. And as you can see, this is in steps, taking you through these steps towards commercial use. And since I have made somewhat good use of my time, there is a 90-second video just to get a bit more understanding that I'll just show on your screens, and potentially the sound should be all right.
Rain erosion on the leading edges of wind turbines is a huge problem for green energy production globally. Current solutions have technicians climb down from the top of the turbine in ropes to restore small sections of the leading edge by hand. This is very time-consuming and takes 9 to 12 hours per blade. Automated solutions takes the same amount of time, just using a robot instead of humans. But there is a much more efficient way of doing it.
There are several reasons why Reblade is bringing game-changing technology to the market. First of all, we are the first ones in the world that lands a drone on a horizontally positioned blade. We're also the first ones in the world to repair wind turbine blades without the use of ropes. Finally, we are the first in the world to enable a 2-man service team to perform a full repair of 2 turbines in one single day. And that has caught the attention from the market. We have the concept, we have the core team, we have the market, and we have the opportunity at the right time.
Let me just see if I know how to.
Rain erosion on the leading edges of wind turbines.
Sorry, you're not going to see it again. I just need to know how to exit this to next slide. Slide control. No. All right. There's a finishing slide with my contact info, and that's basically it. All right. Time up.
Thank you. So I'll pass now the words to Jera for the Q&A. Sajid.
Sure. Thank you so much, Frank. This is Dakram from Jera. My question is, what is the operational range for your drone, and how long can it functional before it needs to recharge or return? And also, yes,
please continue.
And also, how does it impact the efficiency of repair operation? For example, like in the midst of repairing a blade, the drone has to go back. How would it resume then it works back again?
Yeah, all right. So you have a team that stays on the ground that flies the drone up and then lands on the blade and performs 3 processes. It grinds the surface, it cleans the surface from dust, and it then recoats the leading edge. You can either fly down between each of these 3 processes, or you can, when we have the final version, be up there and have all 3 processes. We are weight and size reducing it. So currently we do 1 process at a time. you change the module, the tooling, and fly up and do it again. You have an assisted landing by LiDAR scanners once you position the drone above the blade, so the operators get help from technology to land on the blade. And then you activate the repair process once it has checked the ambient temperature, the dew point, and so on, according to the application guide of the coating material, which makes sure that the liability and warranty of the coating material from the supplier stays intact. And we document this in a quality assurance report. So I hope that answered most of your questioning. Otherwise, please help me on to the next question.
Yes, about the operational range.
The operational range, when you go offshore, you can be around 300 meters from the turbine. You can be more. It's all about matter of battery. This isn't intended for flying 10K out in a nearshore environment, but you can bring it since it only requires 2.5 by 2.5 meters on a CTV, a crew transfer vessel, and fly up straight from the vessel and re-land. But there are also offshore energy companies looking into making a sort of helipad that snaps onto the railguard of the transition piece, where you then fly to the other turbines. This hasn't been done yet, but this is on a conceptual level.
I see. And how long would it last for on a one go?
So currently 9 hours for a full turbine of 3 blades, and in 25 we are bringing that down to 4.5 hours. So roughly 1.5 hour per blade, and that includes curing time, and that's actually why it's 4.5, because the coating material that we recommend and use is curing in less than an hour. Then you can start at 100% in use at full efficiency again.
Impressive, impressive.
Thank
All
you.
right, so given the unique capability of your drone, what enhancement or new features are you planning to incorporate in your drone's technology?
Currently, it's about getting different energy company and operational feedback to make sure that we cover different LEP choices, the protection, the choice of leading edge erosion, leading edge protection choices. But it's also about maturing the product into getting nearer to the offshore, where we are and will be the only solution available. We are sub 25 kilos, meaning that we adhere into the drone open class, where you can certify service technicians in 40 minutes. Test online, cost you €9. And then you can use this all over the world with a small variant of 8 grams in the US.
Interesting. I still have too many questions, to be honest. I'm very interested.
I'll come back
in your
another
technology.
day.
Maybe yes, in another conversation.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Bye bye. Enjoy your lunch and today. Hi.
Thank you very much, Frank. Okay, so we're ready to welcome the next startup. So Proxy from Canada. Sean, can we get the next participant on the line, please?
Yes,
I'm here.
he should be answering. Yeah, there he is.
Hi, Campbell.
Hey, how are you?
How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
We're great. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations for making it to the top 60 of Free Electrons 2024.
Thank
So
you.
you already know the dynamic. You'll have 6 minutes to pitch, followed by a brief Q&A. Whenever you're ready, please feel free to start.
Great, thank you. I'm Campbell McDonald. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders at Proxy, and we make electricity safe. And what we're addressing is something that many of you already know in the room, is we're protecting against the risk of electricity in the job site for industrial workers. Tens of millions of workers face this risk every day. In each of your organizations, tens of thousands of workers face this risk every day. And it's catastrophic risk that we're guarding against. And the challenge is this is not just a risk to the employee, it's the risk to your organizations. These are HR and PR nightmares, not to mention financial, like really devastatingly awful events, and ultimately long-term productivity killers. And the challenge is that even though you see the consequences at some level, you actually don't understand the risks. Electricity is silent and invisible. Workers, unfortunately, don't report near misses, either because they don't even realize it has happened or because they choose not to report it. And 95% of near misses are unreported. And in terms of the consequences, our largest customers and many large organizations around the world are recognizing that these costs have been underestimated for years. Direct costs are a small sliver of the costs. It's the indirect costs that really make up the large portion of these. And so these really catastrophic events are not hundreds of thousands or single-digit millions, but tens of millions of dollars per event. And we're seeing now that organizations are recognizing that this investment in safety and operational excellence has been underinvested in over the years. And our solution is very simple: a wristband that's worn by workers to give them real-time risk awareness, to warn them prior to contact with an energized device, and data to allow organizations to proactively see risk across the organization, to prevent injuries before they occur, and to understand compliance and usage. So the wristband is very simple. Workers wear the wrist when they're at work, and it notifies them prior to contact. And I'll show you a brief example. So here's a worker working on a panel that they think it's de-energized. There's no warning before they open the panel door, but as soon as they reach in, once the shielding is gone, they receive a notification. Again, as they open the door, there's no notification. They reach in, they receive an alert right away. And this alert, we're seeing the video version, which is a visual alert. There's an audio alert, but there's a haptic feedback. This is a vibration that's occurring on the worker's wrist to give them an unmistakable notification in a lousy, distracting industrial environment. Now, for those of you who are electrical safety experts, you may be wondering how this fits into the normal or the existing safety processes. And this is just another layer of safety. You're going to continue to isolate or apply lockout tagout to isolate energy. You're going to continue to use contact sensors to verify. But right now, there's nothing to monitor the safety. If there's a change in the environment, if there's faulty grounding, if there's backfeed from alternate systems like renewables or backup generators, and Proxy is constantly verifying to ensure that the environment is safe for workers. Now, I mentioned before about the data platform. Proxy is a smart connected device. So not only do we protect the workers, but we provide data from the band to the organization. And this allows organizations to see how workers and teams are interacting with energized equipment so they can assess risk. And they also see deployment of usage, how the uptake of the device is happening across the organization, as well as continued usage for compliance, pure visibility across the entire organization. Now, we do have some competitors in the field, and you can see here a side-by-side comparison. The key difference here is that these devices are largely focused on high voltage. And I don't want to minimize the risk of high voltage, but high voltage is relatively easy to detect. We protect against high voltage in the same way, but we're the only solution that really focuses on low voltage as well. And we're mounted on the wrist. We're the only ones that perform under 1 kV. And we're also the only organization that has a data reporting tool to allow visibility across the organization. We're deployed in large organizations, and the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. And I've just put some quotes here just talking about the ease of use, the differentiation, and how strong our team is to work with across these deployments. What I'm proposing to all of you is to reduce the risk of electrical injuries by 80%. And our process is very simple with most organizations. 10 units, 4 weeks, $10,000. What we require from you is a project champion, ideally a minimum of 2 operational teams to test against use cases to validate the efficacy of our solution, and then and candidate teams to validate these use cases, and then ideally to get to a go, no-go decision within 4 weeks. That's how we operate with all our customers to date. You can have a larger trial, and you can test more devices if you like. We have a detailed project plan that walks through this step by step, checking in with teams and individuals on a weekly basis. We're trusted by large organizations around the world in a variety of industries. And we've got a great team to make this work with a combination of electrical safety experts, operational experts, and software and hardware engineers. We're Proxy, and we make electricity safe. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, Campbell. So let's open for Q&A with CLP.
Hello, Campbell.
Hello.
Thank you, Pitch. I'm Ivan from CLP. First question is, how does proxy ensure data security and privacy for the information collected from the smart wristband?
So we adopt the best-in-class security platforms. We've used pen tests to, like third-party pen tests to validate it. And we work with security and compliance teams with the largest customers in the world. Fortune 10 global security companies have validated our security for their data center applications. And for those who require it, we can run on-prem.
Second question, can you elaborate on potential weakness or limitation of your solution?
Sure. I mean, I guess the limitations are that we are not replacing any part of your safety process. We're not a diagnostic tool to verify the absence of voltage. And with all sensors, there's the risk of false positives. So, I mean, that's some of the limitations. But other than that, this is really additional information for the worker to keep them safe, and additional information for the organizations who want to have the future of digital information safety to understand safety, deployment, and operational excellence.
Okay. Third question is, how does Proxy plan to differentiate your solution with the other potential competitors?
Sorry, I didn't understand. How do we tend to do what with you?
Your differentiation with the other competitors. I think you have the slide showing.
Yeah, so I mentioned that. Oops, I mentioned that back here. We've differentiated ourselves primarily in the way that we've deployed our form factor, and then our data platform really sets us apart. So even for organizations that may prefer a different form factor, if they're looking for data, we're really the only solution. And again, for those who want to have a solution for their low voltage risk as well, which is where 90% of contact injuries occur, they really look to us, and we, on all those applications, we beat our competitors in head-to-head rollouts.
My last question, can you provide detailed information on the integration process of Proxy's device with existing safety protocols and system?
Sorry, I wasn't able to catch it. Can you, the first part, can you differentiation on what?
No, this is about the integration process. How do you plan to support the utility when we consider to use your solution to integrate with our own safety process?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's what we do in our trials. We work closely with the team to understand their existing safety process. Now, the fortunate thing is that most organizations do adopt similar safety processes, but this is something that we work with those organizations to operationalize. So that's simply part of our trial. You're the customer, and we follow procedure and figure out a way to layer this on top. But it doesn't replace any part of your existing process. It's really ensuring the workers are wearing the device when they're at risk. And we provide data visibility around that. So you can see that even if you're not there for an inspection. We're the only solution that does that. And then in terms of integrating into reporting processes, we provide our own dashboard. And for those organizations that are looking for to digitally integrate us into their existing platforms, we have an API.
Thank you. Any other question in the room?
Yes, below 1 kV, up to what voltage level do you detect the risk?
So we actually haven't found a limit. The highest we've tested to is 500 kV. And so our system is entirely customizable. So we roll out with a set of settings. There's actually 5 settings that start at 220 volts and go all the way up to 38 kV. But there's really just theoretical limits to how high we go. The hard part is actually not detecting high voltage, because that's actually relatively easy because of the strength of the field. The hard part is actually solving for low voltage, where you want to ensure that the workers trust the device and get accurate readings.
And in terms of principles of your wrist, is it based on electrical fields or magnetic fields or a combination, or what's the detection principle?
So we rely on the electric fields, and then we also use the accelerometer to help provide a third basis for using movement to improve the strength and the quality of the reading.
Thank you.
Thank you. Final question?
Yeah, you showed the example of a technician putting his hand into the cabinet, the alarm going off. If he uses his other hand, does he die?
No, well, I mean, no, in that case, he may. That's good. I mean, the thing is, the other hand would be exposed as well to the issue. There is not which hand he uses. The issue there is the cabinet door is closed and then becomes open, so that actually removes the shielding and allows the field to be read. So it's a good counterfactual. We do offer 2 bands per worker if you choose to. There's no technical limitation on that.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Oh,
Thank you, Campbell. Have a great day.
you too. Bye-bye.
Okay, up next, we have Matan from SoulSign joining us.
Super flexible.
All right, Matan should be entering right now, Maria.
Thank you. Hi, Matan.
Hi.
Good morning, afternoon. You're joining us from the US. How are you doing today? From Ireland, actually.
Well, I'm in London right now.
Sorry, Matan, your sound is cutting out a bit. Can you try maybe turning off your camera and speaking, seeing if it gets better? No, it's still a little bit. We're hearing you with cuts.
Hello.
Much better.
Yeah. Hello. Is it a bit
Yeah,
better?
Okay. Yeah.
Hi, Matan. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
We're all great. Really looking forward to hearing a bit more about your solution. So whenever you're ready to pitch, you know the drill. 6 minutes for a pitch, followed by 4 minutes Q&A.
I don't see the timer, but I'll just do it. And also, can you see my presentation?
We can see your presentation, and in João's screen, you should have a timer to help you.
It will appear once you begin.
So once we start now, you'll have the timer.
All right.
All
right. Okay, Grant. Okay, good. Okay, let's go for it.
Go. Good luck.
Thank you. So, hello everyone. I'm Matan Lass, founder and CEO of SoulSign, the end-to-end solar site intelligence portal. So myself and Eran, who are the company's leaders, we worked as lawyers to the renewable industry, where we specialized in advising renewable energy companies on lease contracts. So we came to realize a critical pain point for the entire industry: the enormous costs, delays, and inefficiencies associated with the scouting, assessment, and acquisition of land for new solar developments, particularly in those countries where reliable data, and especially land registry data, was difficult to come by. So that's the figure that we have there, 6 billion euro just on prospecting activities in Europe alone. That's not the cost of the land, just the activities. Now, you almost never hear of the challenge of land prospecting, but it is one of the industry's biggest pain points. Finding suitable land is in and of itself a difficult endeavor due to the challenge of limited space, but it is compounded by the roles of intermediaries that push up costs, the inefficient existing tech solutions that rely on what we call active or cold call searches, a bit more on that later. But in any case, they don't work in less digitized territories. And of course, the ever-present problem of poor land registry data, all of which creates significant barriers to entry to new markets and cause developers to waste enormous amounts of cash in the process. So we thought that with our legal and professional experience, we can completely change how suitable land is found and brought to market. So we teamed up with a group of crack GIS and technical experts to develop SoulSign, the first all-in-one solution for solar site intelligence and prospecting. So SolSign is a unique property portal that uses special technology to assess whether land is suitable for renewable energy projects. The portal combines legal, geospatial, and energy market data to simplify the process of identifying, assessing, and acquiring utility-scale solar farm sites. SolSign can instantly assess the viability of any plot of land as a potential solar site. We empower both landowners and developers to unlock the true solar potential of any given property. SolSign is unlike any active GIS-enabled sites search software on the market that some of you might be familiar with. Our platform's main USP is a site scoring algorithm. So the portal knows, in inverted commas, right, what the average solar developer is actually looking for and is able to calibrate hundreds of data points, meaning that SolSign can analyze enormous property portfolios, an enormous amount of leads, and cherry pick those plots that will be suitable for solar development. And this enables us to pioneer passive, what we call passive location intelligence. Landowners can submit their properties for analysis, and SolSign will bring you only the most suitable plots to the attention of the energy companies through our dedicated solar site marketplace. This makes SolSign the most effective lead generation land prospecting tool ever to hit the solar industry. Now, let's talk pilots. EDP, we're looking at you. Why EDP? Well, firstly, guys, you already know us, okay? So we've clearly been on the EDP Ventures radar. We've spoken to your team. Maybe some of the people in the audience already know us. And we know that we're the type of tech that your commercial teams are looking for. We know that. Secondly, look, it's all about the geographies we focus on. As mentioned, our passive intelligence tool is a game changer in countries with poor cadastral data. So for this reason, we launched in the Balkans, and we're already live in Serbia, Montenegro, Bulgaria, and Slovenia. And we plan to roll out right across Central, Eastern, and Southeastern Europe, precisely those territories where EDP is already a solar development market leader. Why SolSign? Well, by helping us tweak our algorithm to your specific needs, we can provide you with access to pre-qualified land leads, right? We can pre-screen all leads for ownership and title of land, among else. And we can help you concentrate all of your prospecting efforts in one easy-to-use and intuitive portal, packed with all the open source data that you need, and also our own proprietary mapping. So for instance, we geocoded the entire low and high voltage networks throughout the entire Balkans region. And you can use our APIs or exporting functions to run our leads on your own preferred in-house geospatial solutions. So, pilot proposal, what do we want from you? We want to build an AI model that can scout land for projects. And we want to learn how you currently find new land, learn about your preferred data sets and general development criteria so that we can fine-tune our statistical models. What can we do for you? We can bring you the leads, matching your specific investment criteria straight to you, cutting out all the intermediaries and the messing about. And most importantly, the new features. With a better understanding of your business requirements in your specific development markets, we will build new features to help smooth your project origination hurdles, including an online lease option negotiation feature, planning laws evaluation, and automated network connectivity assessments. That's been me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matan. So let's first hand over the word to ESP.
Yeah, hi Matan, David Mullen, ESP here. Thank you for your presentation. I just have a few questions. So in terms of identifying sites, what are the criteria you use and how many of them are applicable?
So we used over 50 different criteria to analyze properties. So the majority of these are what we call geographic criteria. So these are they're essentially satellite data criteria, right? So everything that is about the elevation of the land, the size of it, the precipitation, all the different geographic data that you would require, we have that already. We also have, as I mentioned, the legal data. So we have information around planning. There's somebody talking, sorry. There's planning history of the polygon. the potential rezoning of the polygon. This is our input as solicitors, as lawyers. And then we have the energy market data. So distance from energy infrastructure, so the nearest substation, the nearest transmission lines, and increasingly, and this is the really cool thing we're starting to do now in the Balkans, we have data around actual live capacity around each individual substation, being able to generate a connectivity assessment feasibility report telling you the chances of actually connecting any given plot to an off-taker.
Okay, thank you. And I noticed one thing there, you've had a map of Europe, and unfortunately you're being interviewed by an Irish company, but Ireland wasn't marked green on your map. So I'm just wondering, do you envisage difficulties in expanding, you know, as you mentioned, the east of Europe in particular? Do you expect any challenges going more west?
So you can't hear about my accent, but I'm a proud Irishman. Our company is incubated as part of the European Space Agency Business Incubation Center in Tyndall, down in Cork. Our entire R&D team is in Ireland. So we haven't launched in Ireland. That's because we have such a fantastic land registry. The data is overflowing in Ireland. So if you wanted to find a particular plot with particular attributes, it's actually very easy to do that. Our portal, we thought at the beginning, has limited value add in such a data-rich country such as Ireland and the United Kingdom, which is why we're focusing on the countries where data is so poor. But I tell you this, if we can crack the Balkans and places like Serbia, Montenegro, which we have, and we can speak to our happy customers just to find out more, I'm sure that we can crack Ireland as well, should we want to.
Thank you. And I suppose overall, what is the commercial model of the company?
So the commercial model of the company is we make our money from the solar developers, so from the utilities. Essentially, what they do is we give them the leads and they pay us to put them in touch with the owners. So these are hot leads, right? These are actual people that want to hear from utility companies. So we put them together and we monetize that. But as I mentioned, we're building out a whole bunch of other features, what we're hoping to monetize as well, possibly from real estate agents as well. So if you know daft.ie in Ireland or Zillow or any other property portal throughout the world, the idea is that you just be able to upload land or an entire land portfolio like a real estate agency would, and we would automatically scan that for solar site viability and then take a small fee, a marketplace fee, to advertise that to our cadre of renewable energy customers.
And have you successfully matched many sites between landowners and utilities to date?
Yeah, we have. We've done at least 3 sites that have gone on to be acquired by a utility company in Serbia, and we only launched in October 2023 in MVP. So we're pretty impressed with that ourselves.
And from the utility perspective, is it, I suppose, a subscription service where the utility subscribes to your platform to gain access to these sites, or how does it work?
It's pay as you go. We give the utilities access to just about anything, most of the data sets that we have, and then you only pay in order to be connected to the specific landowner. We would like to change this business model once we have a bit more leverage in the market, but currently that's what we can do, and we're pretty happy with that as well.
Thank you.
Any final question?
So your registered office is Baggot Street. That's where we live, but we can't find your office.
That's just the postal address that we use now. But we have our offices down in Tyndall as well, and we work remotely from Dublin. We have people all over the place. Our chief scientific officer is in Rathmines, and I live in Dublin as well. So that's just our registered address specifically. And the only reason for that is because I was a solicitor in Philip Lee, which I'm sure you know, and it was across the road from where the law firms was.
But I've been analogous.
Okay, Matan, thank you very much for joining us today. A big round of applause. Jan and Diogo will join you in the other room and give you some further instructions, and you can expect to hear from us soon. Thank you very much, and have a lovely day. Thank you. If you can leave the room, below you have a button with the blue button to the right.
Oh, sorry, I see that now. Thank you
No
so
worries.
much.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so up next we have Grid Wrap with Talia and Davud. Are they already on the line?
Yeah, they should be here.
Yes, we're here.
Hi Talia, Davud. Did I pronounce your names right, just to make sure?
Yes, correctly.
Yeah, perfect. Pleasure to meet you. We have a room here full of utility partners, many people joining online as well. Everyone very much looking forward to learning more about your solution. So whenever you're ready, you can share the slides and you'll have 6 minutes to pitch, followed by 4 minutes of Q&A. Feeling good?
1 second, I don't know why something happened.
No worries.
Good morning, everyone. I am also at airport, and Talish is doing the presentation for us.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Full screen, yes. Good luck with your pitch.
Should I start, or is there anything?
Yeah, it's already in share screen mode. So you'll have a timer on the top right of your screen to help you guide.
Okay, I'll start. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. My name is Talia. I am CTO and co-founder of GridWrap. At GridWrap, we have the vision to create a resilient future by unleashing the existing potential of the grid. We have a great team in place right now. Dawood, my co-founder, he's also with me here, and he is joining from the airport. He has a PhD in material science and many years of experience in composite material. I have a PhD in mechanical engineering and 2 masters, and I've started working on composite material during my masters and continue working on during my PhD and after in my professional experiences. We also have a great team of advisory board from utility, from industry, and we're also very fortunate to be partnering with so many utilities as our main customers and partnering with them to help us through our product development and commercialization. IEA reports that the world must add 80 million kilometers of grid by 2040 to meet the climate targets. This is creating 3 competing objectives for utilities. We know that grid infrastructures are are old and they're damaged. There is also increasing intensity and frequency. Why is it moving? Increasing intensity and frequency of extreme weather, so there is a reliability and resiliency issues, and the renewable energy growth. All of these are causing the utilities to think about improving and upgrading their infrastructures. One of the ways that conventional way of improving upgrading the utility poles is basically replacing them. They close the roads, they bring big cranes, and they replace sometimes have to shut off the line and replace the utility poles with a new poles or an upgraded poles. Our solution is a pole wrap kit installation. It weighs less than 25 pounds. It only needs 2 crews of installation, less than 2 hours of installation time. You can put it on a truck, back of a truck. There is no mobilization and street closure needs, and there is no need to cut off the power. This is the composite wrap restores the structural mechanical integrity of utility poles as a permanent long-term solution. So we get the wrap and wrap it around the existing utility poles, and will bring the original structural integrity or even increase the load bearing. This is long-term solution. It is very fast. It is fire fire resistant, and it is very fast and easy to install. We have done many case studies with our utility partners. I'm going to share with you a couple of these case studies. The first one is in that we did with Enel in Milan, Italy, and we installed the composite grid wrap on a concrete pole, and the criteria was, can we install this on elevated height in the location of bolts and connections? And as you see, we were successfully installed it in the elevated height. The second case study was also with Enel in Milan, Italy. It was on a concrete pole. The success criteria was installing this pole wrap in a residential area. This pole was like in a very high, less accessible location. It's very hard to get to it, and it's very costly to replace these poles in residential areas. So we were able to install the grid wrap on this case on the poles in a less accessible locations. The third case is with Dominion Energy. This time we installed the pole wrap around a wood pole that was damaged by woodpeckers. They wanted to check and see if this is easy to install in elevated areas, and it will also help them with other damaged poles with woodpeckers. And the last one I'm going to share today with you is the one that we did with a utility in Florida. It's a wood poles, and one of the main causes of wood poles failures, sustainability issues are their damage due to water penetration or humidity under the ground. So we were able to install the pole wrap on wood poles on underground damaged. So as I said, compared to the conventional method, we are very fast. There is no permit requirement. There is no closure of the road requirement. Very small equipments needed, and especially the cost is much cheaper compared to conventional method of replacing the poles. We have 26 utility partners, 400 poles in 2024 and 5,600 poles in 2025. We have done launched the product. We have done large scale test, proof of concept with utility partners. Right now we have a DOE grant and we're commercializing our product. So for this demonstration, we like to demonstrate this concrete pole wrap technology to restore structural integrity and reach all of these objectives that I'm listing here. The first week will be scoping. The second week we will be planning and doing engineering design. 8 weeks would be installation and post-installation, and then we will do the report and next steps. Thank you for your attention. It was fast.
Thank you very much. And I'll now hand over the word to Ion for the Q&A.
Yeah, hi here, Sebastian from Ion. Thank you very much for the great pitch. I would like to start in the beginning. Your technology, when does it come into play? When you identified slightly damaged poles, or can you also do it as like a predictive measure to prevent the pole getting, for example, a fire burn, etc.?
That's a very good question. Let me just share this with you. We have these pole wrap technology can be used on damaged poles and undamaged poles as well to increase the resiliency in the extreme weather situation. So we divide it into 3 different conditions. A non-deteriorated pole, the pole wrap can be put in place to increase the resiliency. And for damaged pole, like less than 75% deteriorated, we restore the structural integrity and increase resiliency. If there is more than 75% of the pole deteriorated, we don't recommend this solution. And there are multiple different cases of kits that we create. So,
all right, and I saw in the pictures that you cover not all of the poles, so you only target the weak spot basically of the pole. Is that correct, or do we need to wrap the whole pole?
There is no need to wrap the whole pole, and as I showed in the use cases that I was sharing, there was only the damaged part. For the damaged part, we can only wrap the damaged part with a little bit higher. And for even for these, this one is a this use case that we did was not, this was not a damaged pole, this was a new pole, but there is resiliency issues because underground humidity will deteriorate the pole. So we want to stop the deterioration. And so we wrap underground and 3 foot above the ground. So we don't need to wrap the whole pole, but the parts that is more concerning. So we do an engineering design to decide how much of the pole needs to be wrapped.
All right, thank you. And the installation, would that be done by your personnel or certified installer, or is it planned to be done by our own personnel as I saw there's very little equipment needed?
We are kind of giving our partners, utility partners, the choice to choose whatever they want to do. If you guys have the crew, and we will train the crew to install this, it will be like one session of training, and then we will certify them to install your crew or your contractors. Or if you prefer that, we can, like, we also have our contractors that are already trained and we have in different locations, and we can utilize them to install the wrap, but it's the choice of the utilities.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I have one additional question. How scalable is your solution? So how does your production look like at the moment? Can you give us an indication on that?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? Sorry, I didn't hear.
How scalable is the solution? And do you already, what size of production do you have already in place?
Sure. So we are a startup, but we have a scalable approach towards our suppliers. So we have already built a strategic partnership with our suppliers that are providing us with the different parts of these technology parts. This is a sandwich, and there are different parts to it. So we have multiple suppliers that we have strategic partnership, and they can scale up the production based on our needs. So we right now we only have 400, as I showed here in our in 2024 pipeline, but it is very easy to scale up. Okay. We have
How do you prove the integrity of the repair? How do you know you've made any difference at all?
Yeah, so we do testing, and that is something that we did with NL. So there are multiple different three-point bend testing that we did. We also do and then you see like this pole was broken in the place that is not wrapped. We also do fire testing. So there are multiple different tests that we do. And if you like, I can share the list of the tests with you. But the main thing that is happening, we also did 3-point bend testing in this is our test setup in UCLA test setup, UCSD test setup. So there are multiple different tests that we do to and measure the stress-strain relationship and see what is the load capacity of the pole before and after.
Last question from Hydro-Quebec.
Yeah, this is a pre-pregged material?
It's not, are you asking if it is pre-pregged?
Yeah. Is it?
We have a kit that is pre-pregged, but this material that I'm showing to you in these case studies are not pre-pregged. We saturate them on the field.
Okay.
Okay.
Last question here. What temperature range your products is designed for?
It's a very good question. So we do fire testing as well. So the product or the technology can withstand fire based on the standards of that we do. We did some testing for the fire, and measure the charring, and it is passing all of the requirements of fire standards, the ENA pole fire performance. But this is designed. I don't know, Dawood, if there is anything you want to add to this.
I was asking for the temperature range in terms of your design. Is it minus 45 plus 45?
Oh, okay.
Celsius?
I can answer the question. For the application time, it is better to have it at least 4 degrees Fahrenheit, because there is a correlation between temperature and cure time, and this is only for application time. We are talking only 2 hours, but after application, there is no limitation for going the lower temperature. This is the question that most of the time people from Canada, they're asking about under low temperature application. We don't have any limitation on the lower temperature application, but for higher temperature application, as Talia mentioned, we have done a fire test and the system also is a fire resistant. It means that we don't have a limitation on the temperature.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that was Talia
Sure.
Davut. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
It's a wrap.
So my colleagues will be in the next room giving you some further instructions and letting you know when you can expect to hear from us. Thank you again for joining us and best of luck. Cheers.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.
Thank you. Okay, so we have 3 minutes until the next pitch. So Jen from Poly AI is already ready. Ready for us. So if you want to grab a quick coffee, we don't have a lot of time. Go ahead.
Die man die Leitung das eigentlich das Schritt, was ich echt relevantes Problem. Skalieren, was wir weiß nicht, ist just one week. I'll take it.
Let's go back. Noel, please ask you. Noel, can you please ask people outside to come back to the room? We need to... Yes.
Just this pitch, how long now?
Come on, everyone. Come on. Let's get ready to welcome Jen. For those online, if you want to ask questions, you can also just raise a hand, and after the utilities in the room will get the word to you. Yeah? Okay, João, can you get Jen back, please? Whenever you're ready.
Yep, she's getting in the room right now.
Thank you. Hi, Jen.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you doing today?
Good, good. How are all of you?
Very good. So here we have Jen representing Poly AI, ready to pitch to our esteemed utilities. So if you could please share your screen.
Yep.
First of all, of course, congratulations for making it this far. We're very excited to know a bit more about your solution.
Excited to be here. Okay, let me focus small, make sure. Are you all able to see my screen okay?
Lovely.
Awesome. Am I okay to start?
Yeah, whenever you're ready. So there's a timer in the screen to help you guide yourself. And 6 minutes pitch, which will follow for a quick 4-minute Q&A. So whenever you're ready, please.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in. Hi, everyone. I'm Jen Cunningham with Poly AI. So a bit about me, I focus on our strategic alliances here. I've been with the company for about a year, but my background is actually in utility implementation projects. I started out working at IBM on AMI projects, so really excited to be here and speaking to you all today about our customer-led voice assistants. I think if everyone can kind of think for a second, I'm sure you've all probably had a pretty rough customer service experience over the phone over the past 6 months to a year. So I have a story actually. Recently, I was moving to a new flat in London, and I got my sign up for my new utility, and it said, okay, your account number starts with an A, go log on and you can pay your first bill. So I go to log on, and it doesn't work. I can't access my account because it starts with an A, which is invalid. So I have to call the utility. I waited on hold for about 20 minutes. Needed to hang up, called back again. A few days later, waited on hold for another half hour, talked to someone. There was a bug on their site they didn't know about, and I was able to pay my bill. But these sorts of interactions happen all the time. I'm working for Poly AI. We create customer-led voice assistants that empower customers to get to the right person at the right time, and they can take control of the conversation, speak naturally, interrupt, ask questions, dive in and out of different topics. And we've seen a lot of success at an enterprise level. Worldwide, actually, FedEx is deployed currently with our system in 12 different languages. But we're new to the utility space. We have an early pilot going on with PG&E right now in the US, but for my own background in utilities, I know that there's a lot of global variety, and we are a very globally focused company, which is why I'm here talking to you today. Our founders met doing their PhDs back at the University of Cambridge in 2017 when Google created the large language model. And they really saw this broad-based technology and saw an opportunity to apply it to bespoke customer service use cases, which is where we focus. But rather than just talk at you about it, I'm going to go ahead and play you a call so you can get a sense of some of the work that we're doing right now.
Cafe Bridge Portsmouth, how can I help you today?
Oh, good evening. Could I book a table for 1:30 this coming Sunday for 4?
Let me just have a look at what space we have. Okay. We have a table on the 30th of January at 1:30 p.m. for 4 people. Is that all okay for you?
That would be excellent.
Great. And did you want to book for the a la carte menu?
Yes, we will.
Okay. Shall I go ahead and book that in for you?
Please do.
Great. Can I have your full name, please?
My full name is David.
It's been an honor.
Can you spell your last name for me?
G.
Can we reach you on this number?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm just waiting to see that go through. And that's done. Is there anything else that you need to let me know? Any allergies or other notes that I should make on your booking?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And so with this specific deployment, a couple things I want to call out. One, really natural sound voice. We have a team of linguists on staff. Two, we have data insights that tie into our platform. So from this specific deployment, we're able to see they had too many 4-table configurations. And so by moving to more 2-table configurations, they were able to accommodate more bookings and see an increase in revenue. Since I know I'm just about time, I'm going to jump ahead. This is another case study that we have with a hotel company. I'm going to very quickly talk about the work we're doing for Genie for 10 seconds. Very, very early stages, helping with kind of unreasonable peaks or unseasonable peaks and kind of reeling in kind of these long wait times, especially so you can get emergency calls as quickly as possible. So what we're proposing from a pilot standpoint is a PolyAI Gen AI navigator to replace kind of complex IVR trees with LLM-powered voice AI for just call routing, CX journey management, no integrations, to be able to route calls to the right place and answer the phone quicker and be able to identify any emergency situations like gas leaks faster. Generally, for this type of project, this would take us about 8 weeks to deploy, during which time we're really looking to get a sense of what are people calling about when we're looking at utilities outside of the US? What are the pain points that we're seeing, and how can we add value to your own call centers and customer service experiences to elevate them to another level? What we're looking at from a proposal standpoint would be to just stand up the system itself as a one-time build cost, and then look at a 3-month pilot taking in 150,000 calls. And if there was interest in expanding further, then we would move from, we typically actually do a per minute cost model, but we would look at kind of based on what the scope of that larger scale project would be. Yeah, I kind of rushed through that, but if we wanted to go ahead and actually jump over and switch into questions, would be happy to kind of chat more.
Thank you, Jen. So I think we're ready to open for Q&A. So.
Thank you, Jen, for the pitch. I'm Ivan from CLP. First question is how your platform being trained? What are the minimum data requirements?
Yeah, sure thing. So in terms of platform training, we have our own proprietary LLM that we're using. And so we're using our own language model. We'll do some initial conversations, we don't need many, just to deploy and fine tune to actually understand specific terminology that you may be using and training kind of the automated speech recognition. But it's minimal from that standpoint. A handful of calls.
So in your pitch, I think you also mentioned your system compatible with Chinese, with Cantonese.
Yes.
As well. Can you share more about your pilot project within China or Hong Kong?
So we haven't deployed projects within China or Hong Kong. We have done, or actually, no, we don't have China in. With our FedEx project, we recently launched in Taiwan, and then we also have done some work and exploratory work in Japan and Singapore. In terms of the actual like Chinese understanding, so we do have quite a few actual native Chinese speakers here in our office in London, as well as our dedicated team of linguists. So they're able to kind of fine tune the model, make sure it's working correctly when we're validating against different languages.
Okay, thank you. Third question is, what measure do you have in place to ensure the continuous improvement and optimization of your solution?
Yep. So in terms of continuous improvement, this is something that's included in all of our deployments. We're looking at just anything that we deploy, any kind of system upgrades that are being rolled out, they're rolled out for existing deployments as well. We're also continuously monitoring calls on our own, just for quality assurance perspective. And those are kind of the main kind of checks and balances that we're doing to make sure that the system is up to date and providing the best service possible, as well as just continuous monitoring of all of our deployments as well.
Okay, last question from me is, like, can you tell us more about your competitive edge over the other like solution in the market?
Absolutely. If you actually don't mind, I have a slide. I have a couple, but I think so one, our three founders are all very much still involved in our company. And they're working on our day-to-day, but I will also just share a bit about our language model. And really what makes it unique is that we are trained specifically on human conversations and spoken conversations. Other types of language models that you'll see out there, they're trained on written text. So it's not as natural or in tune with how people speak. So that's why when you're looking at our solutions, it's much more natural conversations, kind of like with the example that you heard previously. I'll also call out, there's a lot that goes into making a voice assistant work. This is all included in our tech stack, with the only exception being our text-to-speech, because we find that certain text-to-speech models work better with different languages, with different case studies or use cases. But yeah, so it's really in terms of our technology. We've been rated by Salesforce as the conversational voice AI. We were recently recognized by Forbes as the only conversational AI vendor on their AI 50 list. And we've consistently been recognized by Gartner as well as a top vendor in the space. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Jen. Any last question in the room? Anything?
Two quick questions. Hi, Jen. Yeah, André from P. Do you have it available in Portuguese and Spanish?
Yes, and we have LATAM Spanish as well as Spain Spanish, or the Castellano, and yes.
For both the pilot and the rollout, what would be the preferable business model?
Preferable business model, you mean in terms of?
Is it a fee that we pay like every month, or for the pilot it's a one-shot fee? How it would work?
So typically we would expect to see like a one-off fee just to cover the professional services to actually build it. And then there we can either do monthly billing or in one kind of one fell swoop, whichever is easiest.
Okay, very last question. Is it you speaking right now, or is it?
No, I am not Gen AI. I get that voice. I get that joke from time to time. No, I'm
Okay,
Thank you. Big round of applause to Jen. Thank you very much for joining us today, and Diana will give you some further instructions in the next room. Thank you, Jen. Have a lovely day. Cheers. Yeah, you can link the bottom. Okay, so up next we have Mark from Energy Robotics.
Hello,
Oh,
can you hear me?
How are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing, guys?
Energetic room, as you can notice.
Yeah, crowded room, looks like.
Looks like it. Congratulations on making it this far. How are you feeling today?
I'm great. I'm ready to show you what we do.
Motivated to pitch? Great. We're here to listen. So please go ahead and share your screen. And whenever you're ready, 6 minutes pitch followed by 4 minutes Q&A.
Okay.
Ben?
Double check, you see my slides?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So, first of all, thank you very much for having time for me and my company. I'm presenting Energy Robotics. I'm CEO, co-founder. And what we do is we develop a platform which operates different types of robots for industrial inspection in various environments. And I want to be specific today and talk about what we have done already in the power, utilities, and transmission industry. So, currently, all of the asset owners, big asset owners, have the same issue, right? So we have a lot of assets, especially in Europe, which needs to run longer, which needs to be maintained and inspected on a regular basis, and the costs for health, safety, environment also were going up, and also, let's say, bad weather have an influence of the assets. But what we share all in common is the problem that we are running out of humans, quite simply, right? If you're looking at, oops, sorry, I got somehow blocked out. Hope you can hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect, sorry. Somehow I got locked out of my screen. So what we all have in common is that we are aging as society, especially the Western civilizations. This is an example of a German utility company, which is actually, by the way, present over here. What it looks like is that 1/3 of your whole employees are going to retire in the next few years. So this has a huge impact of knowledge transfer, it has a huge impact of operations, and that holds true for more or less for every other industry as well as country in Europe. So what we need is to automate as much as possible, and there we come into place. Our solution offers to get humans into higher value jobs to really make impact and leave the pure, let's say, we call it dull, dirty, and dangerous task in that industry to robots, which can do that job in a much more safer way, as well as in a much more cost saving way as well. So what we deliver is, with our different types of robots we operate, as well as drones, we can check on asset integrity, making sure that the asset is proper working. We enable predictive maintenance by having high quality data collected in those assets continuously and transform that data into useful information. And as well, if we talk about emission detection, I think SF6 is still a big topic in that industry. Also, our robots are all usually with gas sensors and can easily detect early on that there is gas coming out of the plants. We already have deployed a lot of robots globally, and we are very proud that we also have E.ON, Edis, Bayernwerke, and Exelon as our customers already, which are running robots, different types of robots at their substation or at their power plants. And we see that in the future, this is, let's say, a way to grow, because in Germany alone, when I'm not completely mistaken, we're going to build 600 substations per year now to support the change to renewable energy. So the number of substations is growing, and on the other side, the number of people are shrinking. So we are globally operating already and have always already a big footprint in the world, and very proud that we have robots already collected over 20,000 hours of executed missions and 20,000 kilometers of distance covered. So how does it work? It's actually two pieces. One is the robot brain, which runs on robots or on drones, which enables those drones to collect the data. And the cloud brain is there for managing the fleet of robots, as well as transforming the raw data into useful information. And I'm going to show you how that works. So data collection is done by the robots. Robots are running in plants, in substations, in gas plants, etc. And the collected data is then pushed through our AI recognition system to detect the information which we're looking for. So it might be fire extinguishers, but also a hole in the fence, etc. And then pushing that into the digital twin, or using our existing digital twin solution to get a full understanding of its surrounding. And I just want to pick up something, because we just had 2 weeks ago a webinar on that application with a couple of partners together, where we showed what we can already do. So usually we have a lot of analog devices on substations and power plants, and here we come in with our AI, which is capable of detecting pressure as well as oil temperatures, fence oil detection, thermal analysis, all things which need to be done in that environment, like classical silica gel inspection, oil level inspection, etc. And we are not only having robots walking around, but also of drones in a box solution with a BVLOS license, which allows to do continuously inspection on site multiple times a day, where the drone can take off and give us the 360 image we're looking for. We are very proud that Edis is one of our dear customers, which has run sustainable tests with the robots and have deployed a robot for over a year on a substation. So we have proven already that point that this is also a way to go to work robots on a very, let's say, remote location, doing all weather conditions. And there I'm done. think that's 6 minutes.
Mark,
Closely.
so ready to open for Q&A?
Absolutely. Let me run in the background a little bit of video so that you at least get some robots to watch, and we can start with Q&A.
Amazing.
So thank you very much for the presentation. It's John from ESB. We've seen a lot of autonomous drone opportunities in free electrons the last couple of years, but not so many walking around or rolling around. So we're interested in what's different about yours. And how many robots do you have in the field at the moment, operating?
So right now we have about 80 robots in the field on 4 different continents. The majority of them are in oil, gas, production environments, as well as in power utilities.
And how many are in the power utilities of the 80 robots?
8 now, right now. We're going to deploy 2 in the next 2 months. So then it will be 10.
And what jobs are they doing?
So either on gas plants or power plants or on substations mostly.
What is the job that they are doing?
Continuously daily inspection, collecting the information, what are not yet digitalized, and making sure that the perimeter security is also given.
Okay, and how much of the work is security versus doing other jobs?
That depends on the customer. Some of them want to have more security, means the robot is constantly checking the fans. Some of them are more on the power plant itself and checking indoors all the let's say machines over there.
Okay, of those 8, how many are indoor, how many are outdoor?
Actually, there's only 1 indoor right now. The majority, all of them are outdoor, actually. All of our customers are looking for robots which are outdoor. So if you take the 80 robots, we only have 2, I think, indoor right now.
And who owns the robots? Do you own the robots and lease them, or does the utility buy them?
Now, we are a software company. You can think about us like Windows. You buy a license for the robot brain and the cloud brain, and you directly have a contract with a robot hardware operator because they also deliver the service around it and the maintenance.
Okay, so there's another company involved, is it? The robot manufacturer, is that correct?
Usually there are multiples because there is no one robot which suits all the cases. We're currently operating about 8 different types of robots, depending on what need. For example, a robot with large wheels for long distance, smaller robots for close by distance, or even robot with legs, which needs to be operated then obviously in areas where you have obstacles or you want to have stairs.
So presumably the operating, how long does it take to train a utility staff member to operate the robot?
That's usually a 2 days training job, and then we have a period of about 3 days where we have, let's say, intensive support, and then follow up by something like 6 to 8 weeks where we are in the background. But that is completely done by remote, so only 2 days on site.
And what is the pilot that you would suggest?
Sorry, come again?
What's the pilot? This is a program about doing pilots with utilities. What pilot project would you recommend to the free electrons?
So I think the most stable and working thing is either power plants, indoors and outdoors, surroundings, as well as substations. So that's the cases we have seen by our customers right now.
And is there Eon? Is there anything you want to tell us, or they could tell us? Are you under NDA with Eon, or can you tell us what you're doing?
There's BioNTech, there's Aeon, there's press releases out there. So what we're doing there is substations inspection with different types of robots. So one is Spot, actually it's 2 spots now, and the other one is a track-based robot, which is doing permanent inspection on substation as well.
And you mentioned Equinor, they obviously make wind turbines. Do they? What is it? That manufacturing, or is that?
No, it is Equinor is it's not any wind farm. Equinor is oil and gas on our concern, so refineries and offshore locations.
Any other questions, guys?
Yes. Is it your product? Is it good in a cold environment with lots of snow? Outside the inspection with in substation with.
Yeah, so I can start that video again. So you see also some impressions there. We had that So walking robots can easily do snow. Also driving robots with the large wheels also capable of doing that. We have in oil and gas the robots which are in the desert operating under 50 degrees outside, as well as robots with going in Canada to -30 degrees, operating also in snow environment.
Thank you.
Okay, final question here on the chat. How do you deal with EU regulation and legislation for fully autonomous drones inspection missions?
We are completely compliant. Why?
This is a question from Esteves from EDP. Can you please?
Yeah, we're compliant with that. So all the regulations, we either be part of forging the regulations or are we compliant. So we're in this business for a long time already.
Amazing. So thank you very much, Mark, for pitching for us today, and best of luck. A big round of applause.
Thank you.
So my teammates will be in the next room giving you some further instructions and letting you know when you can expect to listen back from us. Thank you once again. Great day.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Up next, so you can leave here in the bottom right. There's an option to leave. Perfect. Okay, so up next we have Plamen. Hi Plamen, how are you doing?
Hello everyone.
So
Very
Plamen
well.
represents solid state. Congratulations Plamen on making it this far. Top 60 of Free Electrons 2024.
Thanks.
Can you please share your screen? Okay, so we have a full room of utility partners, many other people also joining from business units online. Everyone very much eager to learn more about solid state solution. Whenever you're ready, let's take the stage.
Okay, very well. Shall we start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Very well. Hi, my name is Plamen Jordanov. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Solid State Power. We're here today because we're working on a 3-in-1 all solid state power electronic distribution device that combines a distribution transformer, volt regulator, and power factor corrector. A little bit of background why we're doing this. We worked on power electronics technology traditionally, and we have focused on the utility space following conversations with a number of utilities in the States and noticing the kind of changing supply and demand patterns and the stress that this puts on the grid. From the top line, you can see some things you already know very well, probably global warming and climate change, increased amount of EV charging, sucking unpredictable demand from the grid, increased amount of renewables, which puts unpredictable supply patterns, and then increased demand for data centers, power quality, and of course, increased regulations from the international utility. All of this, based on our feedback from utilities, is causing them problems and real cost, real money. I've put a few icons at the bottom below the green line to kind of highlight some of the facts. We all know what happens when old equipment catches fire and increased and very big cost, and in dramatic cases leads to a bankruptcy of the utility. Huge power quality issues with sags and spikes on the network, which damage equipment and cause fires as well. And of course, all these problems utilities address by putting more equipment on the line, which is not cheap and which lead times have increased, hence the transformer icons there. And then the interconnect times as well have increased from a lot of renewable capacity is not ready to be put on the grid because of like infrastructure. So a lot of complexity, that's kind of the bottom line of icons, which shows some of the additional equipment that utilities have to put in to deal with that complexity and therefore increased cost. So what did we think can help this? If you look at the next slide on the left-hand side, it's typical setup on a distribution line in the US, where we have a bunch of distribution transformers, voltage regulators, and power factor, and capacitor banks, which correct power factor, as well as a lot of sensors, since the equipment is analog, utilities need sensors to know what's going on. We're suggesting that we can develop and now scale up solid-state technology and power electronics to declutter a lot of that equipment on the line with a single device, which can provide a number of benefits to the utilities. You can see on the left-hand side the beer glass. It's a popular electrical engineering analogy about power factor. So we can increase the power factor on the network, which leads to real savings. You can power the same loads with much less energy, and hence your generator bills go down. You can reduce the interconnect times with utilities because you can accommodate more capacity in the existing infrastructure. You can do conservative voltage regulation, so you can run your voltage lower and save money. And of course, bidirectional DC ports, which could accommodate EV chargers, batteries, and so on. Smaller, lighter, and at the bottom, the big red X says that we can do all this without oil and therefore avoid toxic spills and, most importantly, fire hazards. So this is all nice. It makes money, and therefore we set out over the last 2 years to develop this technology. We have patented it in the US, and we have also built a couple of prototypes. We call them first generation prototypes to prove that the technology works. We have tested it in a couple of programs with a bunch of utilities that are listed on the left-hand side, which account for about 1/3 of the US electricity distribution market. And all these tests so far have shown that the test programs which were set out together with the utilities have been achieved, and there are no real kind of barriers or obstacles to scaling up and commercializing this type of technology for utilities. We have sketched out some potential pilots with the participants in free electrons, and we're open to other ideas as well. But we have about a 2-year window where we want to find partners who would support us financially, so we can accelerate the engineering, testing, and the development to a commercial stage, and partners who would also help us with feedback loops as well as test sites for the prototypes, so that we could get as much real life experience as possible in a pre-commercial product, with a view to basically start contract manufacture sometime at the end of 25 or 26. Who is doing all this? Other than myself, I'm joined by my co-founder, George Mantov, on the far right, who is an electrical engineer in power electronics, experienced about 30 years. Ken Wallace, our advisor, who's got about 40 years experience. Together, we have about a century of experience in business and power electronics development and commercialization, and we have known and worked together for a bit over 30 years. So I'll stop here and thank for your attention and for the opportunity to show what we do, and hope that we can find some nice intersection with some of you and do some work together. Thank you, and look forward to your questions.
Very much. So we're ready to open for Q&A.
Yep, it's Sylvain from Hydro-Quebec. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well. Hydro-Quebec, yes?
Yes, yes. So can you and when provide the 14.4 kV solutions?
Sorry, 14.4 thousand volts distribution primary voltage. Is that what you're referring to? Yeah. So right now, the prototypes we built was 7.2 kV. But the only reason we did it was because our partners said that's the most common distribution voltage on their distribution networks. However, the technology is not limited to 7 or 14 or even 25 kilovolts. It could be scaled up depending on the requirements of the partners.
And in your roadmap, then, when do you see that happening? Would you need like a customer first, or it's already included in your roadmap?
We can include it in our roadmap if there is interest. So far, you at Hydro-Quebec are the first ones to ask if we can use it for 14.4. But that is something that we could easily include in the roadmap, because it's not a question of changing the topology architecture. It's simply changing some of the components within the existing topology and architecture to accommodate the higher voltage.
Okay.
So it's a fairly minor change.
Okay. Just trying to read some questions here. What kind of inrush can the technology provide? And again, just for a little bit of context, in Quebec, due to the electrical heating in residential market, you know that we have, this is our reality. Inrush after an outage can go as high as 2.2 per whatever, and can last many hours. So what kind of solution can you propose for that kind of applications?
So are you talking about overcurrent protection?
Yes.
Or yeah? So currently we are, it's all software controlled. So in difference to the typical analog devices, we can set the software limit to whatever we think is safe for the device. For the test that we've done so far, we've set it to 180%, and that's what the tests have passed. For Gen 2, we're working on 400% overcurrent protection for the device. And again, it could be set with very minute timing intervals so that the device can shut off and restart, self-restart, depending on what the algorithms are set to do. So you could see and detect, for example, variations in the line and say, okay, maybe that's a transient fall. A tree has fallen on the line, so therefore I'll shut down the transformer / 3-in-1 power hub so that I can avoid a fire or further hazards.
So we have one question here on the chat from EDP. Do you also have the possibility of having a three-phase transformer?
Yeah, absolutely. We've already actually put in our patent applications for the three-phase, and it's just a question of engineering to do it. It's the same basic architecture in 3 phases. There is no significant difference. You can probably look up the.
Final question.
Final question. How do you compare in terms of costs to traditional transformers?
So let's be very clear. This is not a transformer. We call it power hub. It could be called something else, but it's really combining a voltage regulator together with a capacitor bank together with a step-down transformer. And really, the benefit is not to swap one transformer with a much more expensive electronic device to just step down power. The benefit is to link a few of them so that you could raise the power factor on your distribution line, so that you could have visibility, so that you could do better voltage regulation, and so on and so forth. And the economic analysis that we've done shows that you can get your returns in a sample distribution line in between 3 to 5 years, depending on typical assumptions.
Lastly, also from EDP, what are the advantages compared to OLTC besides cost and space?
Sorry, repeat. Advantages compared to what?
OLTC.
OLTC. So I assume that's just the distribution level tap changer. The advantages are that it is not mechanical, and it is not limited to 3 or 4 or 5 positions of voltage regulation, but it's continuous, and it could be plus or minus 20% of the input voltage. It could accommodate such spikes and sags and output an absolutely dead straight line at the secondary output. And because it's software, it is not limited to 500, 3,000 cycles or whatever. It's over 5 million cycles that has been tested and simulated, and it continues to work afterwards. So the lifespan of it is magnitudes bigger.
Thank you, Clement. Big round. Yeah, one last.
Yes.
Sure.
What kind of laboratory testing have you succeed so far?
So we have done two lab tests. One is was done by Encore, which is the largest distribution utility in Texas, and it was done remotely from Encore in our lab according to their test program. That was done 2 years ago, and then last year we did another lab testing within the EPRI, Electrical Power Research Institute in the States, in their lab as well as their field field testing site where they have a real 7.2 kV distribution line, about 15-mile loop around their test center.
Okay, so we don't have time for any other questions. I know we have one here in the chat from ESB. So we'll forward it to you, Plamen, and get back to the utilities with the answer. Sounds good?
Okay,
the team
thank
on
you.
the other channel will help you with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it, everyone.
Okay, so we're now waiting for Renato, who's joining us from Brazil, representing Pixforce. Hi, Renato. How are you doing today?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Doing very well.
Good morning. Okay, so as you can see, we have a full room of utility partners here to congratulate you on making it this far. There's a lot of people online from business units also here to listen a bit more about your solution and ask you the right questions. So whenever you're ready.
Okay, excellent. So I'll start sharing my screen.
Yes, please.
So thank you, everyone. My name's Renato Gomes. I'm the co-founder and president of Pixforce. And at Pixforce, what we're doing is developing computer vision based on artificial intelligence for Industry 4.0 more generally. And it is as an AI company since 2016 that we've been ranked the #1 AI startup in Brazil for 5 years running up to 2022. Last year, we fell out of that category as we passed 100 professionals. We're at 120 full-time professionals. So now we're considered a scale-up, so at the very limit of the definition there. And perhaps I think more important than the awards is really what we've managed to achieve in terms of clients. So we have a big presence in Brazil where we are based, and we're starting to internationalize. And as you can see, a lot of companies, both in the oil and gas and the electricity sector. So today, I believe we're serving around half of the Brazilian utilities in different parts of the country. It's a big country, as you can imagine. So we're quite fond of what we're doing in the electric utility space because we believe that the traditional methods that are used for inspection of assets are, of course, not only limited in terms of what they can achieve, but of course, inevitably expose the human beings to dangerous situations. And even where automatized, there's a lot of data, right? There's a systematic amount of data, lots of monitoring that is not only tedious and repetitive, but of course is subject to oversight by humans. And that's why we're very proud of what we're doing at our vertical called PixGrid, which is where we are focusing all the electric AI for. And more specifically, we're going to be focusing today on what we're doing in terms of the inspection of assets, both on a layered level, so at the generation level, through the transmission level, all the way through to the distribution level. So it's the capacity to put all of those inspections in one single platform where the user will be able to gain access to that data, which I think sets us apart. Now, very importantly, just before I continue to advance, is to highlight that when I say that we are an AI company, primarily it's because we do the software. So we're very agnostic when it comes to the hardware that acquires the data. So it doesn't matter which type of satellite constellation our client decides to use. If they are using their own drones or they want to use a drone using the software that pilots the drone that we developed, for us, we are agnostic about the way the data is acquired. We process that data and deliver the results to the clients. And the bottom line of everything we do across this is this capacity to take these images, process them, and have auditable results. So you can always go back to those images and verify whether there was indeed or not any issue. We avoid the accidents. even though we're more precise and faster than what humans can do, we can still do it at a fraction of the cost. So jumping straight into what we're calling the layered process, the big thing that we're trying to make sure is that we can work from big areas using satellite data to medium resolution using drones, all the way through to assisting the team in the execution when they are working directly in the field. For the distribution lines and for the transmission lines, the way we're working with the situation is exactly alongside that layered structure. And I think here, through the screens of the actual interface, you'll be able to grasp a little bit how easy it becomes to have the overview from the high level, from the satellite images, all the way down to each individual tower, which the user can click and have access to that image, down to the high resolution, the zoom ins of what the AI is going to be interpreting. Now, we're quite fond not only of talking about the transmission part, which is essential, the distribution part, which we're also doing, but also about certain aspects of the generation. And here, I think perhaps our big project, which was developed for Siemens in some of their photovoltaic projects in Brazil, it's using drones with thermal cameras to automatically do routine inspections of their solar park. And here again, the piloting of the drone can be done by a human or using our software. The most important thing, though, is this automatization of the interpretation, being able to detect flaws, and very importantly, as you can imagine, it's this capacity to repeat the same type of inspection over time. So we're increasing the predictability of the inspections as time advances. Here we have just a very short animation of what we're doing. Again, agnostic about the drones, but the point being that with the autopilot, we guarantee the acquisition of images always at the same level. And then these images are all set on the platform, which I showcased before. So here we have the high overview vision of what's going on in terms of the flight path, which the drone is going to follow. And then for each one of the assets, the setup, the business rules are going to be defined by our clients. And this is important because, of course, as we're talking about substations across different parts of the country with different specifications, this automatization goes to the point where our user will be able to apply that. So very quickly to wrap up, we have an experienced leadership that cuts across different experiences and backgrounds. But I think more than anything, it's really this growth in our team, having been capable of assembling a high expert team, both of engineers, electric engineers, but above all, computer scientists and data scientists that allows Pixforce to have achieved what we have to date. So thank you very much, and looking forward to your questions.
Thank you very much. We can now open for Q&A.
Thanks very much. A great presentation, very clear. Really appreciate that. So like we're doing a lot of drone projects at the moment, so we're just kind of keen to see what's new and fantastic about what Pixel's got to offer. I'm going to ask a couple of quick fire questions, so just rapid answers will be good. We get through them. So what stage is the company at? You mentioned you're in the business, loads of awards. Are you at break even at the moment? Are you already profitable?
You know, I'd like to say that we're profitable. Our runway today is of around 420 days. So we have capital for over a year with the current contracts and receivable. So we're basically at break even, but our runway is a little bit over a year.
How many customers do you have?
How many what? I'm sorry?
How many customers do you have?
So we're currently at 22 customers across different sectors. In the electric sector, I think we're at 8 different customers. Some half of them are with research projects, so we're developing the solution for them. But the totality is using repeatedly the solution also. So the 8 of them.
That's right. That you operate about 5 or 6 different verticals. Is that right?
That's correct. So we have both oil and gas and electric utilities as our main ones, but we do have solutions which apply across the board. So, for example, workplace safety, where we're inspecting personal protective equipment, which we're applying to Pepsi Cola in the industrial sector, to Anglo American in the mining sector. So some of the solutions are sector agnostic.
And what geographies are you operating today?
So today we're in Brazil and Switzerland and Sweden. So we have one client in Switzerland and one in Sweden, which we acquired. We started executing late last year. So we're starting to go internationally as of now.
What sectors are those European projects?
Yeah, so it's Hitachi, the manufacturing arm of Hitachi in Switzerland, and in Sweden it's in the industrial sector. It's for Saab. So which is supplying the fighter jets to the Brazilian Air Force, but it's a Swedish-based project, not in Brazil.
Overhead line examples there. How do you train your AI to recognize insulator chains, things like that? How do you go about training? Because we have no data.
Well, so our clients are usually giving us or supplying us with the data sets initially, and then either we are doing the labeling or we have a no-code platform where we're going to have our clients labeling the images for us, and thereafter we have our neural networks which we're training. So it's really a mixed approach as of now. But the thing is, we have today we have over 100,000 images for the electric sector alone, so of different components, towers. So I'd like to think that in the future this won't be necessary, but as of now we're still collecting and working with the data set supplied by our clients in every specific case. Sometimes we need more or less given what we already have acquired.
Have you ability to create synthetic training data?
No, we haven't. We've studied synthetic training data, but we haven't used it as of yet. So it hasn't been required.
Is your nearest competitor, would you say, in the market today?
I would say in Brazil it's probably for Vance, which is a company that has a decent presence in Brazil. Internationally, I think in terms of breadth, it's probably I would have to go with a company like now their name escapes my mind, SenseTime, which is capable of doing a lot of things in the industrial sector. So I think in terms of breadth, that's probably the one.
You mentioned EDP and NG, so two reasonably well-known average kind of utility people. But could you just tell us exactly what you're doing with those great companies?
Yeah, so for NG, it's actually in their generation part. So we're doing a project to inspect the generation of energy in one of their bases in Brazil for solar plants. And for EDP, we have two projects, one which is going to be an R&D for the detection of methane from hydroelectric power dams. So that's one we're starting now with a consortium of other companies also. And we're also doing the inspection of distribution lines using LiDARs based on vehicle in streets in Brazil. So two projects with EDP, both in Brazil, none in Portugal as of yet.
I'll pass the word to Gera Sajid.
Thank you so much. So I have a short question, hopefully. I'm glad to know that your hardware is agnostic. I mean, your solution is a hardware agnostic. Yeah. I would like to know what makes a hardware compatible with your solution.
It's about the output, Sajid. So it's for us. We most of the times the format of the image that is output we'll be able to work with most formats, but sometimes we're going to have to convert that into one of the formats we're working with. Now, with that said, sometimes we have limitation concerning resolution. So if depending on, for example, satellite data, even though we're agnostic about the satellite, if we're talking about a low resolution, something in the metric level, we can't be able to geolocate the assets or give the precision of height of vegetation. So it's a mix of the format, but above all, the resolution of the images that are being generated by the hardware.
Thank you very much. We'll get the last question to Renato. My colleagues will send it to you, and we'll share the answer then by email. Once again, thank you, Renato, very much. A big round of applause.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much.
And Diana will give you further instructions and let you know when you can expect to hear back from us. Thank you again, and have a lovely day.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.
Okay, so we're ready to go for, you have time to debrief now, and then we'll have a 30 minutes break. So we'll need to be back here at 4:30 sharp. Okay?
Isn't there a pitch? 10, 12?
Yeah, 4:12.
4 o'clock. So yes, we need to be
10 minutes.
15
They
minutes.
anticipated it, okay.
Yes.
4:12.
So 15 minutes. Right, right.
Yeah. Should we have the debrief later? Yeah.
Yeah, after the final.
After the final, we'll have a long
And the grass is always greener on the other side. Maybe you should come take a trip sometime. Oh, you seem keener when they turn to night. Got you dripping out your mind, baby. Tell me it's a sign. As the pressure builds, so does the tension between you and me. Time has gone so fast, watching the leaves fall from our tree. Baby, I just want you to know I still love you, love you, love you, love you, love you.
Peace to the world, peace to the kids. We all gotta hurt, we all gotta suffer. We all got a heart that bleeds on each other. We all had a mother, a sister, a brother, alhamdulillah. The worshiping the gossip. You never fall back. You conquering your color. The scars on your back, conceived by the woman. The star you the brightest. Glorified death, crucified Christ, sleepy giant gone rest. Blonde hair, blue-eyed virgin ain't shit. Meditate backwards, church bells ring. Worldwide hymn, footsteps, Ethiopian. Old hunchback looked back, Bible in his hands, dodged punches. Assumptions, seeking to expand one's conscience. Conquest, tribal, humans, nonsense. Cosmic, uterus, birthing me, awesome. Comics, aliens, flying, saucers. Suffering, solace, praising me, content. Judas, Deborah, scripted, prophet. One phone tap, hatred for a soul I ain't never seen live. Carved out my features with the simplest of math. E equals everything eventually ends, everyone's dead.
Why do you look at me this way? What role am I supposed to play?
Light one in the air. RIP my dogs, finding strength in despair. Loose change, weed pape, swimming through the tears. Fighting through fallacies, scribbling my notes. Back to my salary, money don't fold. Brushing my fro. One man's trash be the other man's gold. Zoom through with the Ray-Bans on static. Hip-hop's answer to the magic. Jingle bells rang, Santa Claus hold down snow on demand. Kiss, kiss, wet lips, throwing these hands. Cook 'em like holidays, Billy Boy brag. I thought I was a man.
Why do you look at me this way? What role am I supposed to play? Never on the list of the party. Never quite as cool as you want me, but I don't need a friend like a Benny. Yeah, here as can see. Always all alone and lonely. Am I in a life unto me? 11 million arms that hold me. Yeah, here as can see.
We both see a different view, even when we're lying next to each other. I navigate the space round you. So much of us is hidden undercover. And if we can't do this together, speak about all the love you started out. Well, lately I have been struggling. I've been wondering about things. When will things get better? Will things get better? Is this the way that it is? Sometimes trying is tiring, and my cylinders stop firing. If I keep moving and keep on going, I'll make it. Just wait and see. Somehow I'll do it. I promise that we'll get through this. Somehow we'll get there. I promise that we'll get through this. Ain't no relaxing, my baby's asking just what the future will be. When will things get better? Will things get better? I told her, baby, believe. Things keep stressing me incessantly and trying to take what's left of me. But any problems I know solving, so baby, rest easy. We'll get through it. I promise that we'll get through this. Babe, don't worry. I promise that we'll get through this. I know that we'll be just fine in time. Baby, I promise. I know we got this. So keep your chin up, don't give up. Our sunshine will show up someday. Yeah, I've been taking long, I've been writing songs, I've been feeling gone, don't know what you want. You probably prone to stay all night, I'm probably prone to play alright. I've been in the wrong, I can dig it, yeah. I've been in the long, feeling in the chairs. She gon' get hers, I'm gon' get mine. We bring the life, she fantasize. Now I got it yelling, till I yeah. Round two, yeah. I said I got it yelling, till I yeah. Nah, yeah. I've been on the drink, I've been on the weed, I've been on the plane.
Okay, well, so in about a minute, we can get Carl from Singularity in the room. Everyone's just gathering their seats.
Animals each and every time I go into a garden. Now I got it.
Adios. That's from the hero. It's like it's the same age as Arteta. Useless for example. Arteta for same
1 minute.
1 minute.
He should be entering, Maria.
Amazing.
Need to come back.
It's got another name.
Yeah, we don't have it in the one page.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you check the one page that's on Teams now? And on link 3 they've been updated as well. Hi Carl, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Nice to see everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Where are you joining us from?
New York City, Brooklyn to be exact.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
So as you can see, we have a room full of utilities from Free Electrons here today. Everyone's very much eager to listen to Singularity speech. Whenever you're ready, you'll have 6 minutes to pitch, followed by 4 minutes Q&A.
Excellent. All right, I'll go ahead and share my screen then.
Amazing.
Can everyone see clearly?
Yeah, perfectly.
All right. Should I get started?
Yes, please. Good luck.
Excellent. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me today. My name is Carl Brewstead, and I am the Senior Director of Business Development at Singularity Energy. Singularity is a carbon data and analytics provider for utilities and their customers. So today, utilities are facing a quickly evolving landscape, and from our observations, we've seen that they're looking for flexible carbon accounting solutions. First of all, they need these solutions to respond to external pressures, including an increasingly demanding regulatory landscape involving the reporting of carbon emissions information, demand from large forward-thinking customers like Google and Microsoft, as well as investor pressures stemming from their own decarbonization targets. Interestingly, we have also seen many utilities that see this as an opportunity rather than a threat. Many utilities are beginning to create new, innovative clean energy products for their customers, like 24/7 carbon-free energy tariffs, and they are providing more detailed carbon information and green options as a way to attract new customers to their territories. So, in order to enable these needs, we've observed that utilities are looking for 3 broad categories of carbon accounting services. First, a way to track and manage their overall inventory of carbon emissions, stemming from all the energy they generate, buy, and sell. Second, a way to accurately allocate those emissions to their different customers based both on physical location and contractual relationships, such as green tariff programs. And third, utilities now want to integrate carbon data into their existing programs and services. They are moving away from kilowatt-hour-based measurement of things like demand response and energy efficiency towards carbon-based measurements. So Singularity exists to solve all of these problems. We take a platform-based software approach, which means that we have a system that integrates all needed data inputs, and in a modular fashion, uses that to create novel front-end and back-end solutions that calculate and present important information to utility teams and utility customers. So why Singularity? We are a seed stage company backed by the top investors in climate, including Energy Impact Partners, Third Sphere, and Plug and Play. And we are a winner of the National Science Foundation SBIR grant. We have a world-class team founded by Harvard academics that includes some of the leading experts on carbon accounting and power systems. We have real large customers, both on the utility side and on the customer side, and we have proven patented technologies. So really what makes us unique in the carbon accounting industry is that we work across what we call the grid value chain. We have, as customers, grid operators like MISO, distribution utilities like Ameren, Xcel, New York Power Authority, Ameren, Eversource, and Southern California Edison. And we serve large corporations and other technology providers in the space. So very quickly, I'd like to give you a taste of the real solutions we've developed for some of these customers. You'll notice that these tie into the utility needs that I highlighted at the beginning of the presentation. For MISO, we developed a dashboard solution for internal teams and external stakeholders to view 15 years of historical generation and emissions data down to the individual plant level, as well as fuel mix and emissions projections out to 2041. This solution also contained reporting and analytics tools. With Eversource, we deployed our carbon flow technology for highly granular location-based carbon accounting. So using power flow analysis, we can measure emissions down to the individual line and load level. And with Eversource, we're using this to more accurately account for the emissions due to their line losses in collaboration with PwC. We are now working with another one of the largest investor-owned utilities in the US to do market-based renewable energy certificate, or GO, allocation for some of their largest customers, including the federal government. They are introducing hourly emissions accounting to these customers and needed a tool to help manage the complexity of allocating certificates across multiple annual and hourly green tariff programs. So this is far more complex than simply doing all hourly or all annual carbon accounting. Fourth, we've developed customer-facing dashboard tools with some of our other large utility pilot customers. These allow customers to view their historical and real-time emissions, evaluate utility programs, and perform scenario analysis to evaluate the carbon impact of various program options and investment opportunities provided by their utilities. So we piloted this dashboard with 3 utilities through the EPRI Incubate Energy program. So what would a pilot actually look like? This is something we have lots of experience with. I personally ran 4 simultaneous pilots through the EPRI Incubate Energy program, which I believe is a record for their program. First, it's key to choose a specific narrow focus for the pilot, 1 to 3 large customers or a single utility program like demand response. Second, spend 6 to 12 months creating a minimum viable product for that chosen use case, integrating data as needed, but not getting too caught up here. This is the #1 roadblock we've encountered in the past. Third, leverage that quick win to do a broader rollout. So I know I'm at time, so to conclude, we really think that we're the best carbon accounting solution for the utility industry for numerous reasons. We have unique experience at the intersection of carbon accounting and power systems. We take a platform-based approach, which is really unique amongst our competitors. And we have proven experience with real large customers, including utilities. So thank you so much for the time. Happy to answer any questions you have.
Amazing, Carl. Thank you very much. Let's pass over to Ion.
Hi, Carl. This is Samuel from Ion. Thanks for the presentation.
Thank you.
I got a couple of questions. First one would be how regular, regional, and granular you can get. So what is your smallest regional resolution?
That depends on the input data we're able to get. If we're able to access system data or customer data from our utility partner, we can get information down even below the distribution level. So we've looked all the way down to an individual load level before. If we're sourcing data from public sources, then we're only able to get to the resolution that those public sources are available. So if we're sourcing at the country or grid region level, then that's as granular as we can get. But typically when we work directly with utilities, when we get access to their system data, we're able to go down to a highly granular level. So for example, with MISO, our grid operator customer, we're getting their system data and we're now going all the way down to the nodal level with our resolution.
Okay, thank you. It seems like you're focusing pretty much on the US so far, but you also showed a map from Europe. So what are your target markets?
Yeah.
See any obstacles entering the European or German market specifically?
Yes, so to date, we have focused on the US. That's where our investors are located, where our first customers are located. We've done some studies on the European grid. So we've used some synthetic grid data to do European studies. But beyond working directly with European utilities and navigating data sharing and the regulatory landscape, there really are no barriers for us to collaborating with any European or German-based utilities, to be exact.
Okay, thanks. I got one question from one of my colleagues. He asked if your solution is compatible with the greenhouse gas protocol.
Yes, it is. We take great care to align our methodologies with the global standards for carbon accounting, including the GHG protocol. We know the team well. We've been very involved in multiple revision processes and standard setting activities. So the short answer is yes. We ensure that there is compatibility with any and all existing carbon accounting standards.
Okay, perfect. And thinking about a pilot project, you already lined out some ideas. If you would look at a pilot with E.ON, how would that specifically look like? What would be the ideal case from your view?
It really depends on what your specific needs are. There's a few different ways we can design this, including whether this is something you want for your customers or for internal use, whether you want to do carbon accounting that is location-based in nature or market or contractually based. And if you are simply looking for front-end or back-end solutions, whether you're just looking for a calculation engine or a dashboard solution, reporting solution that can share information with your customers. Depending on your needs across those different categories, we can design a bespoke pilot that fits those needs. As you can tell, we've done a lot of different things, and our platform has broad capabilities. So really, the primary question is what your greatest needs would be, and we would be able to design a pilot around that.
Thanks a lot, Carl. I thought there's another question in the chat.
There's a question from EDP. Which scope emissions do you cover, and how are the carbon dioxide intensity calculated?
Yes, so we focus on scope 2 emissions, which are the emissions due to electricity generation. So in some cases, that may be a utility's scope 3 emissions, and in some cases, it may be their scope 1 emissions. So there's a bit of a nuanced answer there, but we focus on electricity generation and the allocation of the emissions associated with that. So we don't do broad scope 3 emissions accounting as part of our platform. In terms of how the carbon intensity calculations are performed, that depends on the methodology that's being used. In some cases, we're doing location-based carbon accounting, which involves allocating the emissions due to the physical location of generation and consumption of that generation. And you can get very granular with that. In other cases, we do market-based carbon accounting, which involves collecting all of the market-based certificates that a utility may have. In Europe, these are usually called GOs, guarantees of origin, and then ensuring that those are properly allocated to their different customers, depending on the contractual relationships they have with those customers. And so there isn't one single way that we do carbon intensity calculations. We employ many different methodologies depending on the context, but in all cases, we're focused on the calculation of emissions due to electricity. So that really is our bread and butter.
Amazing. And last part of the question, does it consider process emissions or manufacturer emissions only?
Typically not, although we have been looking into doing some life cycle accounting, for example, in the context of hydrogen production, for some of the emerging regulatory calculations, you need to do full life cycle accounting for those processes beyond just the electrolysis. And so we've been looking at including capabilities for doing calculations that are outside of specifically just the electrolysis process. So this is something that we've looked at, we understand, and it depends on the context whether or not we would add in some of these peripheral calculations to our platform.
Thank you. Any other question in the room? If not, let's thank Carl.
Thank you so much. Really appreciated it.
If you join my colleagues in the other room, they'll give you some instructions on next steps and let you know when you can expect to hear from us. Thank you again, Carl, and have a lovely day.
You as well.
Cheers.
Take care.
Okay, so in a couple of minutes, we'll be ready to welcome the second dinner startup.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Okay, so any minute we'll be welcoming Dennis. Dennis from Last.
Okay, so I'm sending him in, Maria.
Thank you, João.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Dennis. How have you been?
Thanks. Good. Can I just start, or?
Oh, good to have you here. So congratulations on making it to the top 60 of free electrons. Quite an achievement to get to this shortlist. So we have a full room of utility partners here. Looking forward to hearing a bit more about your solution. We have some people joining online. So we'll have a 6-minute pitch followed by a 4-minute Q&A. And whenever you're ready, you can share the screen and start.
Wonderful. Thank you. So hi, my name is Dennis Schulmeier. I'm the founder and CEO of the Lade company and based in Germany. I founded Lade 2020, and we are doing the next gen AI energy management and charging solutions for economical and renewable use of the energy. Of course, the mobility of the future is electric. We all know that. We see it in the newspapers. A lot of electric cars will be produced, and all these electric cars worldwide needs to be charged somewhere. So we need millions of charging stations, mostly not in single family home, mostly on parking spaces at companies or in multifamily homes. But the biggest problem is that those, or this is the status quo, the most power supplies for these buildings are not suitable for multi-charging stations due to limited capacity. And actually, there's no efficient solution to charge cars with renewables only in that cases. So at the moment, we charge cars with gray energy, which is very bad. One solution is to upgrade, of course, the power supply, but this is very expensive and time consuming. Of course, it's mostly also the job of you as a utility provider, but and you can do that afterwards, and you need to do that afterwards. But now and today, you want to have a solution. You want to have your clients maybe be able to charge a lot of cars at their company or their multifamily home. And that's not so possible right now because you all know that these trafo or power supply stations, they have a lot of long delivery time, up to 24 months. The other solution could be a battery, but a battery is also expensive and resource wasting and costs a lot of money. So that's why we developed the world's first AI-driven charging and energy management platform, which means the platform is an end-to-end platform, all in one. We have developed a management system for billing and user communication, which is very important that we communicate with the user when it comes to an AI prediction. We also worked hard on AI prediction models in the past 3 years with 8 people alone in the AI team. We have developed a controller, which is being able to measure and control all the devices and consumers in a building and has all the interfaces integrated which are needed. And we developed a charging controller, which we have built into, at the moment, 2 different AC charging solutions, which you can see in the picture on the right side. Our first AI, of course, we have a focus on AI and good user communication, because this is the only way Believe me, it's the only way to handle the complex energy management of all these volatile energy sources, renewable energies and the decentralized mobile storage, which we have with the cars when it comes to vehicle to grid scenarios in the future. With our solution, we have two major advantages. We have a plug and play solution for electricians, which is a bottleneck everywhere in the world. And electricians love that. We have proven that, and they love our solution already. We have 250 chargers already installed. And of course, it is superior efficiency, and operators can earn more money when it comes to charging with renewables. So we can get up to more charges on existing household connections. We can decrease the project durations. We reduce the installation cost, and of course the operation cost in the end. If we compare us against others, we have a more intelligent load management than famous charging controllers like or energy management controllers like Charge Pilot or Gridix, because we have the AI part and it's ready. It's really working in the real world. And when it comes to installation and operation, of course, there are competitors like Subtech or Easy, which are really easy and good to install wall boxes. But the whole project is not only the wall box, it's also the energy management, the connection to the operating system, to include the electrician and everything. And that's what we achieved with our end-to-end solution. What are we looking for the pilot projects? We want to install more than 100 chargers on a large parking area, ideally covered with solar energy to prove the feasibility, efficiency, and user acceptance and operator business model. We have installed already 36 chargers at one location, kindly of that, but we have not the possibility to do that in a bigger scale. So that's why we talk about it. It can also be a large parking area where the showstopper grid connection is blocking the expansion of charging infrastructure. And and the timeline of and cost, we estimate, or what we want to prove is, of course, the 4 points. We want to be able to prove that we can install more chargers on the existing household connection than with competitor systems. We want to prove that we will be faster than others, and we want to, of course, do it with a half of the installation costs and operating costs. We estimate around 1,500 to 2,300 euros per charge point. This is a Europe calculation. It depends on where we do that project, of course. We estimate around 75K for the ladder stuff, if that is included. I don't know if this is included in the, let's say, project, but yeah. And I have to finish. Yeah, of course. We are a great team. We have a good COO. I'm a trained electrician, and of course we have a doctor of physics and stuff in our team and development team to do that project in a real smooth way. And yeah, let's start Mission Impossible together today.
Amazing, Dennis. Thank you very much. So let's open for Q&A. I'll pass the word to Hydro-Quebec.
Yep. Hello, Dennis. It's Sylvain from Hydro-Quebec. So currently, you operate only in Germany?
Right. We have some small installations in Italy already, but yeah, mostly in Germany.
How many charging stations deployed or your system?
Sorry, the sound is not so good.
How many stations have you deployed in? You mentioned
250 chargers at 50 locations, different locations in the past 4 to 5 months.
Okay. And are you ready to expand outside Germany and especially in North America?
North America would be interesting because you have another grid there. So the energy management wouldn't have a problem with that, but we need to switch our charging controller to the 110 volt system. But it shouldn't be a problem if we work close together.
Okay. There are a large number of charging station providers. Are you ready to include other providers as well, or?
Yes, we have OCPP connectors to our cloud management. And we developed the energy management controller, which I showed to you, that it's able to control other wall boxes. But there is no real standard for load management implemented in other wall boxes. So we have focus on some major market leaders, and we'll be ready in 2 or 3 months with the energy management. But it's not a problem to include a special charger. If you have a special manufacturer, we can include them very fast.
And the cloud service provider is based in Europe, or could it be based in North America? Again, very sensitive.
It's Amazon AWS, so it can be placed in America as well.
Okay, great.
Any other questions in the room? If not, we have one here from EDP on the chat. How do you lock in your existing customers? What stops another company from doing this faster, such as company Monta?
Sorry, I didn't get the beginning. What?
How do you lock in your existing customers?
Okay.
And what stops? Yeah, go ahead. What stops another company from replicating what you do and doing it faster?
So one thing is, of course, the AI stuff. I think we have we are somewhat ahead with our AI development because we do that really since 3.5 years now, and we have the end-to-end solution. We are the only provider who has really a really plug-and-play end-to-end solution. This is not possible with Monta. Of course, it's easy to connect chargers to Monta somewhat, but it's not everything you need as an electrician to install, and that's where we. Of course, others can copy our thing. Everybody can copy everything, but I think we are somewhat ahead of the others, and we can gain market share to be the leading energy management platform.
Thank you.
And one thing, once our energy management is installed in a building, it guarantees somewhat of 10 or more years ARR, because this is a hardware device which is installed in a building, fixed, and then the customer is locked to us.
Thank you, Dennis, for your energy and enthusiasm. So a big round of applause.
Thank you.
If you'll join my colleagues in the other room, they'll give you a few instructions on next steps and just a few dates on when you can expect to listen from us. Thank you, Dennis, and have a lovely day.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So you can leave the room in the bottom. There's a button, a blue button, and it will redirect you to the main room where Diana and
I need to stop the presentation. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so we already have Gurmesh here with us. Hi, Gurmesh, representing Moment Energy. How are you doing today?
Good. How about yourselves?
Congratulations on making it to the top 60 of Free Electrons 2024.
Thank you.
Excited for the pitch?
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. We're looking forward to hearing you. So, you have 6 minutes to pitch, followed by a brief Q&A. So whenever you're ready, please take the stage.
Sounds great. Awesome. Thanks. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Gurmesh Sidhu, as introduced. I'm the Chief Product Officer and one of the co-founders at Moment Energy. And what we've discovered is 95% of electric vehicle batteries do not handle sustainably when retired from vehicles. A lot of them are put on shelves, within warehouses, or they're put into landfills even, which is, even worse than that. And this is all really bad for the planet. And one thing that we learned in elementary school is it's reduce, reuse, recycle. But I think the industry today has been focusing so much on just that recycling piece that they're missing the reuse piece of it. So there's going to be 66 million EVs on the road, or retiring, by 2030. That's going to be 500 gigawatt hours of available energy storage capacity. When these EVs reach end of life, They have 80% average capacity left in them, and they have a high discharge capability compared to new lithium-ion batteries at a similar price range. And there's regulatory pressures from governments and other bodies to create a circular economy. This is why Moment Energy provides clean, affordable, and reliable battery energy storage systems by repurposing retired electric vehicle batteries. We currently have projects that we're focusing on throughout North America. We worked with a company in Montreal, Quebec, to deploy a military project. We're working with Hydro Ottawa and deploying the project from their side I'll talk about later. We're working with local utilities within British Columbia to deploy multiple projects. And we're talking to multiple different sites throughout the US as well on deploying projects. We support renewable technology. We support the reduction of development in line capacity, and a lot of other items within the gambit. So one of the things that interests us the most is that we've noticed that in sites that are looking to electrify heavily, especially end-of-line sites, the cost of replacing the medium voltage conductor to the transformer is significant compared to installing a Moment Energy battery energy storage system behind the meter, or at least in front of the transformer, depending on the geography and how the tariff system works in that area. Installing this battery system can increase the capacity available on the site by providing power during peak usage, and then exporting power when it's off-peak and charging during off-peak times. And by using intelligent control, we don't need to upsize the local transformer or increase any of the load carrying capabilities within the power lines. So right now we have a project very similar to this we're working on with Hydro Ottawa. What we're focusing on here is what they've realized at Hydro Ottawa is that a lot of communities and a lot of neighborhoods where people are buying EV chargers are being concentrated together in one area. So what this means is that essentially middle-income neighborhoods have a lot of EVs coming in. Everyone in middle-income neighborhoods in North America typically works a 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. job, and then they all come home at 5 p.m. They start their electric ovens and plug in their electric vehicle. This is creating significant load on distribution transformers and neighborhood transformers that they weren't really prepared to handle. And to replace these transformers, it's going to be hundreds of millions of dollars in all of these neighborhoods. But instead of doing that, what Ottawa Hydro is doing is next to the transformer in front of the meter, they're installing Moment Energy battery energy storage systems. What this will do is, based on the neighborhood usage of EV chargers, the energy storage system will provide a transformer support to the load and effectively reduce power scarcity in residential areas, specifically cul-de-sacs. Additionally, this is a very large transmission and distribution deferral play. And once we have enough of these systems installed at scale, these systems can then be aggregated together to act as capacity for the market as well. One thing I've realized talking to multiple utilities is previously utilities have seriously focused on the large scale deployments of systems, 1 gigawatt hour, 10 gigawatt hours, 100 megawatt hours, whatever, like the Moss Landing project, for example, in California. But what we're discovering is that there's a need for small distributed energy storage on the grid as well to help support additional capacity and reduce the need for transmission and distribution upgrades at these neighborhood sites or even at houses or commercial industrial buildings. We're doing a very similar project with YVR. However, this project is, Vancouver International Airport, this project is in front of the meter, behind the meter, sorry. So this project, we're helping the airport electrify their fleet, and we are preventing the need for expensive and time-prohibitive infrastructure upgrades that would take years for the utility to perform locally. This is because our grid in this area is not prepared for EV charging. And the Vancouver International Airport has large priorities, not only on sustainability, but just adoption of EVs in general in the area as well. So it's something that they're really looking to do and looking to use to reduce their Scope 2 and 3 emissions. So by reducing their load, we're able to save them a significant amount of money and reduce the cost of that. What we've done in order to do this is we've developed the first and only UL 1974 certified facility in North America. So this means we're the only facility certified to repurpose second life batteries, and we've done this with our cutting edge module and pack level testing systems. We have, we're going to be UL compliant. We're going to be the first company that's UL compliant for second life batteries throughout North America, including all of the other standards as well. And we're looking to pilot with utilities, work together over the next 6 months to create, potential negotiations and POs. And yeah, that's my pitch. We're Moment Energy, and we're hoping that we can find opportunities to work together.
Amazing. Thank you, Garmesh. So I'll handle the word to EDP to start the Q&A. Francisco?
Yeah. Hi, Garmesh. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello, Francisco from EDP. I have here a first question. So what's the cost reduction between when comparing your system to a new lithium-ion system?
So our cost reduction is around 70% of that of a new lithium-ion system, depending on the market and the size. However, we're issuing a higher power system than these first life lithium-ion systems, and that 30% reduction is based on the levelized cost of storage, so based on the lifetime of this pack as well.
Great, thank you. And do you have data? Can you say now what is the expected lifetime of your system?
Yep, 7 to 10 years, depending on application, with 3,500 cycles right now. But we have a battery management system that's going to extend that to 5,000 cycles.
And do you have any kind of analytics installed to track the degradation of your system?
Yeah, yes, we do. We have a BMS that will track it using some proprietary algorithms and some standard algorithms as well.
Okay. And in your projects, so you are focused a lot on North America, but like present time, are you able to do a pilot outside of North America, or is it your focus to just be in North America?
We are able to do pilots outside of North America. That being said, we may not take on the full scope of work we do in North America with those pilots. So we may work with local suppliers to help us fulfill those pilots a bit stronger. But we'll still include our IP and we'll still include our installation work in it.
One last question from my part. So what is the capacity or the size of your module?
So our standard system is 288 kilowatt hours and 240 kilowatts.
If I may add one more question for a pilot project.
Well, can we please mute? Thank you.
Are you still listening?
Yes, I'm still listening. It just cut out.
Sorry. So the question is, for a pilot project, what would be a recommended capacity to test, and what capex are we talking about?
Yeah, so I would recommend testing below 500 kilowatt hours for a pilot project. Up to a megawatt hour is maximum I would go, and the capex for the project maximum would be under $1 million, depending on the site and the development cost. $1 million USD, to be clear. But generally we can get it under 300,000 for a single system.
Thank you.
Yep, and that's for the first deployment. It'll go down over time.
Okay, any final question? Yes, B?
Did you mention, sorry, Goldfish for a second, did you mention that you can recertify end-of-life EV batteries for repurpose in a different use cases? Did you mention that?
In different markets or different use cases, sorry?
Yeah, well, sorry, not to go outside the EV market, so you're using it in stationary storage. Did you say that you are actually able to recertify those batteries?
Yes, so we have UL 1974 already today. So that's the process of recertifying these batteries. Now we're in the process of certifying our packs. So it's expected to be fully certified in October this year. And we're the furthest along according to UL and CSA.
Sorry, did you say how many other people are doing this in Canada and North America?
Maybe the 6 companies, the 7 companies doing this in North America. I really don't know the status of those companies because we have pretty strong supply agreements. We haven't really been tracking the competition too much.
No, but did you say you're the only guys doing recertification?
Yeah, we're the only ones certified under UL 1974 in North America.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Final question? Okay, then let's give a good round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for joining us today, and my colleagues will give you some instructions on the other room.
Sounds good.
Thank you,
so
and have a good time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, everyone. Last pitch of the day. How are we feeling?
Good.
We good?
Awesome.
Yeah, we're sure. Okay. So we'll welcome Justin Kim. Hi, Justin.
Hi.
How are
Can
you
you hear me
doing?
okay?
Perfectly. So Justin is joining us from Canada.
Yeah, you can.
Awesome. So you know the flow. It will be a 6-minute pitch followed by 4 minutes Q&A. Whenever you're ready, you can share your screen, please.
Sounds good. I just want to confirm that you can see the slides okay?
Yeah?
Okay.
Perfect. Whenever
All
you're
right.
ready.
Well, thank you very much for having us present at this great forum. My name is Justin Kim, VP of Sales and Marketing with KeyTech, or QEA. At QEA, our mission is to decarbonize the building envelope with AI. Now, taking a step back, buildings consume a massive amount of energy. So about 40% Europe, it goes up to 70% of total energy consumption in some major urban areas. The building envelope is what I want to focus on today. The building envelope refers to the exterior of the building, what separates the inside versus the outside. So this includes things like the walls, windows, doors, roof, and insulation. This is very important. This building envelope is very important in overall energy efficiency and energy consumption of buildings. And there's over 30% savings potential through the building envelope. And I understand that a lot of trends and different focuses have been on internal mechanical systems and lighting and things like that, but we should not forget the critical role that the building envelope plays in overall energy efficiency of a building. So that's what we're focused on at KeyTech. What we do is we pinpoint all the different issues throughout the building envelope, and we quantify the energy loss from specific points throughout the envelope. We have proprietary technology, we have 2 patents, and we're using artificial intelligence to do this. We are pinpointing places of energy loss and a variety of different issues like moisture penetration, facade deterioration, inadequate insulation. And ultimately, we are providing the customer with recommendations that are customized and specific to their needs on what kind of retrofits they should be doing in order to really maximize the return on investment and reduce the payback. And that way they could be very surgical and very targeted with the kind of retrofits that they're doing. So how do we do this? We're using a simplified kind of 3-step process to be very simplified about it. The first stage is mass data capture. So we use commercial drones. We take thousands of infrared images and thousands of high-resolution images. We're also deploying IoT devices for a short-term period to capture a mass amount of data. And then in the second stage, we're using our proprietary software to ingest and analyze the data. And then in the third and final stage, we're providing comprehensive reports, pinpointing all the different problems, quantifying the energy loss from specific points, and giving our clients a detailed roadmap on what kind of retrofits they should be doing in order to maximize their investments. This is just a quick scroll through of our platform. So we have an online platform that we provide to our clients. This is just a dashboard that gives you a high-level summary of some of the problematic areas that we see. The customer can click and drill down into specific sections to see all the specific issues that we've highlighted. We also provide a virtual representation of the exterior. This is just one of many examples of a client that we have. These are put together using our software. And it goes into further details on the reports where we go section by section, identifying the different problems that we see. We work with a wide range of customers, commercial buildings, industrial, residential, hospitals, academia. We also partner with engineering firms, energy management firms, utilities, etc., to provide this very detailed understanding of the building envelope and how the building envelope can be used as a key avenue to reduce overall energy leakage and energy use within these large buildings. We've developed a data set of over 1 million data points, well over 1 million data points at this time, based on all the work that we've done, and we average about 40 metric tons of CO2 savings potential per project that we do. This is just an example of a project that we did, and again, we work on all different types of buildings. This just happens to be a major international airport. We did the scans within a couple days, so we cover a lot of ground in a short amount of time. We pinpointed specific problems throughout the entirety of the facade in the envelope, and we're continuing to work with the client on the types of retrofits that they should be doing. So in terms of a pilot project and pilot opportunities, we can look at these types of buildings and look at specific ways in which we can reduce the energy use through the envelope, or reduce the energy leakage through the envelope, look at different weatherization approaches that the client can take, and look at potential incentives or rebates or policies that can be built in to really incentivize our clients to do these types of work on the retrofits. We're very behind in terms of the envelope retrofits that we need to do to meet our net zero goals. And we think that we are a big reason to provide data-driven evidence to compel and motivate our clients to do retrofits. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Justin. So let's open for Q&A.
Hi, this is Cameron from Origin Energy in Australia. Great presentation, and we're very interested in your technology. So a couple of questions. Firstly, what's your preferred business model working with a utility? Is it a partnering where you do the work and you do the customer facing, or is it more white labeling with the utility to offer it as one of its services?
We're flexible. We typically like to co-brand. We typically don't like to white label, but it depends on the situation and what kind of partnership and what kind of projects that we would do. I'd be happy to set up another call with you and we can kind of talk through how we could potentially work together.
Cool. That sounds good. Thank you. So what degree of customization would it be required for applications outside of Canada? Say, for example, in Australia. I think I read that you might have already done some work in Australia, but what's the customization outside your target market at the moment?
So our technology is very scalable. And again, we're a software first and foremost company. So we partner with drone operators in local environments to capture the data. What we would do is we would look at some of the building code and requirements and regulations in the local jurisdiction. We would also look at the costs associated with different types of retrofits in order for us to build that into our modeling and provide the clients with an accurate representation of return on investment and the payback periods associated with some of these specific retrofits that we would be recommending based on the performance of their specific building.
So can you give us a bit of a sense of when you do the actual measurements, you talked about non-invasive measuring, but also some IoT sensors. Is that the IoT sensors, is that kind of a temporary thing whilst you're doing the measurements, or is that like a permanent thing in there that helps, I guess, augment or calibrate some of the other measurements?
Yeah, great question. It is temporary. It's a 24 to 48 hour period that we deploy these sensors. These sensors help us calibrate the analysis that we're doing on the thermal images and the high resolution images. So they're looking at various different types of temperature, humidity, atmospheric conditions, and it just helps us with accuracy in calibrating the artificial intelligence analysis of the pixelation of all the images that we capture.
Okay, and do you need people like present to be doing things, for example, like turning things off and on, or putting the maximum load to help you draw out some of those inferences?
No, it's quite non-intrusive and we don't require the local building property manager or the building owner to be involved. It's a pretty hands-off turnkey process for our customers. The IoT devices are typically put in place by a partner, the drone operator, the operator locally that we partner with, or our team if it's absolutely necessary that we attend. But otherwise, it's very hands-off for the end customer.
Right. I was going to ask you about if there's any limitations, but your example helped me. How on earth did you get drones flying around an airport?
Yeah, we've worked on all kinds of really cool, sensitive projects. Right now, we're doing a military base. We've done military bases and armories before, airports, hospitals that have air ambulance in congested downtown areas. So New York City right now, we just wrapped up a project in Manhattan. So we've done a lot of really cool projects and typically don't have issues getting permits.
Okay, and in terms of a business model, are you happy to take on some risk, as in share, make your fee for service include some of the savings that the customers might experience themselves?
Yeah, we're definitely open to that. Again, it depends on the specific conditions and parameters, but yeah, happy to have an additional conversation about that.
I think I've heard my alarm, so my allocated time's over.
So we have one last question from EDP.
Yeah, so sorry, one very last question. With the utilities that you have been working with, do they sell your service or they offer your service and focus on upsell or cross-sell additional services that they can provide to the customers?
It's been a bit of incorporating our service into existing service offerings. You can put a markup on it. So we have partners that certainly do that. And then we've worked with for government utilities that provide incentives and rebates. So we fit into an existing government utility. I don't know. I mean, it depends on the local jurisdiction, but we've had those types of relationships as well, where there are existing incentive programs in place. So they'll introduce us to customers in their network. And because it is government backed and government funded, there are existing programs that we fit into for rebates.
Thank you.
One last question from Jan.
Okay, quick one. You mentioned you hold a patent. Can you quickly explain on what this patent is exactly?
Yeah, there are two patents. One of the patents is on the quantification of energy loss through infrared imaging analysis. And the other patent is related to identification of anomalies for building envelope using infrared imaging. And we've got a couple other patents in place, and we've got a number of trade secrets in how we capture and analyze the data that we do.
You just asked where the 30% number comes from. You're saying 30% energy is lost through the fabric. What's the basis of that claim?
Those are different studies, industry, I wouldn't say industry, publications, research studies that we've seen, that we've come across that speak to different percentages of how much energy is leaked and the energy savings potential through the building envelope. I think they're European and American studies for the most part.
Given that's an older building portfolio, like new buildings, A-rated, green, platinum, and all that stuff, are probably not 30%, I think.
Yeah, probably not new buildings, but another application of our technology is to validate the performance of materials for new constructions. So we've seen some very interesting things where vendors and contractors have not installed things and some egregious errors and faults that have been occurred. So yeah, typically it's older building stock, but the older building stock is a significant portion of the older infrastructure is not going to go away. We're not going to demolish all the buildings, and we need to improve the building stock that we have for the most part. And we're woefully behind when it comes to the envelope retrofits that are required to get anywhere close to some of the 2040 or 2050 net zero targets that we've put on ourselves.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Justin. Big round of applause for.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And if you go to the other room, my colleagues will give you some further instructions. Thank you very much for joining us, Justin, and have a lovely
Thank you.
time. Cheers. Okay, everyone, those were 22 pitches today. Is that it? Yeah. Okay, so we'll give you 15 minutes to fill out the sheets, okay? 10. 10 is enough? We'll give you 10 minutes and then we'll do a short debrief. Okay? So for those online, please join back in 10 minutes and we'll quickly debrief on today's startups. Sounds good? Thank you, everyone.
If I got one thing right, it was you and me. Wanna go in through the window so nobody sees. Pull me closer, please. I don't even need you to explain. How much longer will you keep me on your chain? I'm running out of options. You're running through my mind with a shotgun. I think she might be robbing. She can take what she wants. I just wanna make you late. Would you wanna waste that? I know you like my goofy ass. How could you hate that? I see what's underneath and I love you more now. And now I know how. If I got one thing right, it was you and me. Wanna go in through the window so nobody sees. Pull me closer, please. I don't even need you to explain. How much longer will you keep me on your chain? Too bad it's good, or else I'd be gone. Madame, she cured. And then we go back to your place, don't lie. We wanna get high, so we gonna get high. And then I see a laugh on your face, so I might die. So I might die. So I might die. If I got one thing right, it was you and me. So I'll go in so nobody sees. Pull me closer, please. I don't even need you to explain. How much longer will you keep me on your chain? How much longer?
Europe, you'll get down. You're never running from this town. And I think you said you'll never get anything better than this. 'Cause you're going round in circles. And everyone knows your trouble. 'Cause you're written in a big book. Now you're giving me the look. But just remember how we shook. And all the things we took. na 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 na. Oh na 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 na. Oh na 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 na. Good vibration, yeah. That's the positive vibes and we creating, yeah. The sounds that make you feel right, we keep it blazing, yeah. Forever shining this light, we keep it blazing, yeah. Boy, forever shining this light. Hey, thank the Lord, my cup is full and running over. All who never like we, I got love we know. Baby girl just text me, say she coming home, yeah. And when she reach it, want me fit turn off the phone. Turn the lights down low, turn up the stereo, yeah. Alton Ellis, Gregory Isaac, Dennis Brown. Have you ever been in love? No bad vibes can't stop this good vibration, yeah. That's the positive vibes we keep creating, yeah. Sounds that make you feel right, we keep it blazing, yeah. As long as we live in this life, we keep it blazing, yeah. As long as we live in this life, yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with melodies that touch your soul, no. They're acting like the people don't need it no more. Still when she hear that good music, she hold me closer. She groovy now, I know she feeling it for sure. She moved to me and rest her head up on my shoulder. Soothingly she tell me if it turn up the sound. Have you ever been in love? No bad vibes can't stop this good vibration, yeah. Yeah, 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 that's the positive vibes and we creating, yeah. Sounds that make you feel right, we keep it blazing, yeah. Forever shining this light, we keep it blazing, blazing. Forever shining this light, ooh yeah.
You sold it slower to find your man, but folding over won't hide your hand. 'Cause you waited long enough, hesitated over love, now you're taking over us. 'Cause you waited long enough, hesitated over love, now you're taking over. Ooh, I can't just believe it. Ooh, I cannot receive that. But I can't just believe it. The strongest shoulder won't hold you up, and cold October won't call your love. 'Cause you make it dangerous when you're playing games a lot,
Trying to get people to come back. I know it's 2 a.m. for you, Sajid. It's pretty late. But let's see if they come over and we start the debriefing process. Close it off.
Sajid, terrific effort.
Yes. Cameron, speed them up. Cameron.
Okay, everyone. So we have Sajid ready for the debrief. Maybe 2 minutes.
So EDP done, good. CLP done. Origin done. Eon done. ESP as well, I think. I hope. Oh, that's okay. Thank you. Okay, so. Okay, everybody. Going back, shall we? Going back to the last slot of this morning. By the way, congratulations. Today's a long day. Let's rush this. Oh, and we can also be quick so we can then go on to a well-deserved break. The last slot had aerial tools, which had two utilities interested, EDP and JERA. What were your insights?
I mean, there's a bunch of solutions like this one, so we might follow up to know the details. They are at early stage, so we might follow up, but I don't think there's a high chances of doing something.
Okay. Sajid, anything on your side?
Yes, sure. I believe that they are providing a very special deal here. They have a patent, they produce the hardware itself, and they have a very unique hardware design. The drone combines between, it's a wing and at the same time it's a quadcopter. And it covers a very large land in a very short time. And that makes it, they also use a sophisticated hardware sensors. They use the concept of sensor fusion, which means like they operate with many sensors at the same time, and they collect all this information and analyze it and make it available. Yeah, so the readiness seems high, and we are in, I think.
Okay, good. Thank you, Sajid. Up next was Endema, with EDP again and Eon as interested parties in the top 30. What do you guys think? So your mid readiness, mid likelihood. You care to? What do you guys think? EDP?
Also, we'll follow up with them. I still find it hard to understand what's the role that utilities play in their system. I think that's what we have to figure out on a project. I understand the value proposition on the load shifting and so on, but it's not clear the role that a utility can play. So we'll try to figure that out and then have some more detailed feedback.
Okay.
Yeah, same here from our side. We got some initial interest from from our UK business. I need to confirm that after the pitch. In general, like the pitch, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If. Very well. Then we had re-optimize, which in this case is like re-optimize systems. Welcome back. Any reappreciation of re-optimize? Oh, by the way, we had CLP as in top 3.
So we, as Richard mentioned, we are conducting pilot with them right now for our China wind turbine. Yeah. So.
Okay, because you're already engaged with them. That's
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
I thought you guys, ESB, you were thinking again or rethinking?
Yeah, I think we'll certainly talk to them again.
Okay.
But we can work without having them in the top 15.
We're putting them in the top 30.
Okay. Any further considerations? No? Okay. And then we got into the next slot with SolSign, which had interest from ESB and Origin.
Was replayed before.
Okay, that's right. I'll go back to the after. SolSign?
Apparently we don't need them.
We're not.
We don't have any sun there.
Apparently I did.
Sorry.
Well, we don't have any, we have good data registers, but you said they were registered office.
Yeah.
They're not working there.
Yeah.
So,
Fake Irish.
probably not.
I think we misunderstood the value prop in terms of it doesn't extend to doing solar plant design. So it's really just for real estate agencies and so forth to get in touch and to match.
Disintermediating the real estate broker basically is
Exactly,
really what
yeah.
they're doing, and finding the right pieces of land. You give them your criteria and they find the right piece of land.
Yeah, so HST solar from the first
Oh.
year,
Yeah.
rated power, kind of do a bit more end to end because
Yeah.
they,
They were probably better.
yeah, because they do the site selection. Taking into account, yeah, and then the solar.
Run all the variables, and
Right.
the best design, yeah, these
Yeah.
guys are just basically brokering land.
Yeah, so I don't think we're,
Okay.
we'll share it, but I don't.
So, okay, I mean, that's good, we'll get the gist of it. So now, in fact, we go back, it was Reblade, so it was the first one indeed. And CLP had a vote, and Jira actually had a top 3 for Reblade. Right, Sajid?
Right. I would say Reblade is one of the best. Definitely we're gonna contact them. Yeah.
Okay, good, all right, that's definitive.
Yeah, we have a high
High
score.
score as well.
Okay, so ESB as well, a high score Reblade.
We also like.
CLP as well, interested. Ajukabek, you guys wanted to comment on that?
Don't have windmills.
So that's a comment? Right.
Did they mention the cost? No, they didn't mention a pilot cost.
We don't have any windmills, is it just?
No.
We know them from our program, and in comparison with add-ons, which I think they also participated at some point. Their add-ons it's more matured, so we'll probably skip the part of them, but I would be interested in following up and know some details.
Yeah, okay.
So I think just a drone version of Bladebug from last year. Bladebug did the repair as well, but they didn't fly in instead of.
Yeah, but Bladebook haven't actually proved, Bladebook are quite early stage, so if these are already doing it, Bladebook are claiming that's what they will do, but.
Well, yes and no, insofar as these guys are only doing the leading edge.
Okay.
Yeah, not the actual surface of the land. So they can, and that's what I was asking the guys here, so we actually know what percentage of repairs are leading edge versus the actual land. Yeah.
And Bladebug is more on, for now, inspection rather than.
Okay. Excellent. And another startup we also are somewhat familiar with, Proxy. Now, CLP, you had a top 3.
Yeah.
I think you had a look at them.
Yeah, we are working to pilot the smart wristband.
And?
Yeah, we piloted Proxy and we piloted Peak from these guys. No, we don't. Okay. Okay. Oh, actually, that's right. We got piloted Peak and a number of other different ones.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we talked to the guys, you know.
And?
Yeah.
No.
Well, based on advice from our colleagues at Eon, so.
You would hated Peak and then you would hate Proxy even more.
Exactly.
For technology performance reasons?
It's okay for one-armed guys, because they're safe. It's the two-armed guys, but 50% of the time.
Oh, right, okay.
So our team tested the proxy solution sometime ago, and they were not convinced with the solution. So they developed it probably 3 years ago, and then they went ahead and basically developed an own solution together with certain other party, and out of that resulted a joint venture, and that's big. But we also tested quite a similar solution with advantages and disadvantages, but it's a
very easy proxy thing. You have to wear it on your skin, not around protective equipment. And if you are under the protective equipment, the signal strength doesn't go through.
Now you tell us.
Yeah, okay, I think. All right. Then lastly, in this group, we had grid wrap. And here it's quite interesting because we have CLP, Eon, and Hydro-Quebec, and I think there was some interest in the room. What do you guys say?
Yeah, we like the quite straightforward solution. Received some very positive feedback from the business. Yeah, one of the candidates we would nominate eventually.
Okay.
That's rapid.
That's right.
What's there? Anything else? Any
High on our side.
high on Hydro-Quebec side? Okay.
Not rocket science, but if they have, a ready to go solution, why not?
Okay. All right, that's good. You as well.
I will check with our Brazilian business because in Portugal and Spain we don't have circular poles, so it's hard to do this. We might consider in lines, but we'll check with our Brazilian business.
But low likely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woodpeckers in there.
No, we don't have wood. We don't have wood. It's all
right.
You have woodpecker?
Concrete.
Square concrete poles, yeah.
All concrete straight poles.
Interesting. Great. Now we get into the four last group, I think, moving forward. Poly AI, we had 4 utilities interested, CLP, ESB, Hydro-Quebec, and Origin. Yeah, chat about this. What do you guys have in mind? Interesting English? Like them, so Origin likes them.
I mean, there's massive opportunity and massive risk.
Okay.
So, I mean, you're roll it out, it's going to take huge amounts of people, but there's risks in doing it as well.
Okay.
It's yeah, we like what they presented. It's a bit outside our turf though. So, but we'll have maybe to convince them to do a little bit of a twisting arms.
Okay. That was Hydro-Quebec. All right. Anybody else? Poly AI?
Jira, yeah, Sajid, you want to Poly AI? Is it?
Yes, I believe like voice assistant that sounds like your favorite agent is a problem. Actually, what we are working, my department is trying to tackle. Hopefully, we're gonna contact them. Yes.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
She was a great presenter.
She was a great presenter indeed. Yep.
Good pitch.
Yeah, she's very pro. Then solid state power, EDP and Hydro-Quebec had a notion. You guys wanna? Solid state.
Longer term on our side, but it's on paper it's a great solution.
Okay.
To be proven. Yeah.
It's a long shot.
Long shot.
It's a long shot. Okay.
Yeah, same for us. I think we'll follow up with them and see if there's something that we can scope. Eventually, some joint initiative can also be of interest. Definitely a hot topic that is worth exploring. So we'll see. But,
Interested enough to
eventually, we need to have a meeting with them first to see the details, the costs on how to study this and so on. But eventually, yes.
Doing a comparison, if you remember last year, it's like Prism, it's the very disruptive technology. If proven, it's like
it's a rupture.
It's a rupture. It's like DC. It's like
indeed
you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Up after that, we had the Brazilian PIX force. I thought it was an interesting pitch as well. So JERA and ESB, they were on your radar.
Yes, I'm gonna have to like consult that with my team first before we like form a decision. Yes.
That hasn't gone well in with the past startups. Let's see how it goes this time. No, just kidding, Sajid. Thank you for that. ESV, Peaks Force.
Yeah,
reasonably high score.
We've got feedback from our visitors. We'll have to go back to the date they originally put them. We're trying to figure out what's the USP at the moment and can they work outside of Brazil in the energy sector or in Europe and other sectors.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else want to add anything to?
Next.
Next is energy robotics, and they had two top three, JERA and ESB, and EDP also interested. So
we already have a proposal from them. We'll
was quick.
see if there's a possibility of moving forward with it or not, but it's definitely something interesting. We might check with Ion to see your feedback from the project you did with them. But it's definitely a topic that we are keen to explore.
Okay.
They did not make the cut on our side because we had to take only 30, but we have interest for this one as well.
Okay. Sajid, what's your view on energy robotics?
Yes, I would say like industrial inspection, digital twin, knowledge management, collecting data. These are all fall in our interests. Yes.
Oh, okay, excellent. Thank you. And we get to the last lot, which includes startups like Singularity. And Singularity, we had Eon as a top three startup.
Yeah, we had 3 of our regional DSO showed initial interest. Some of them even joined the pitch. But we still need to confirm that after the pitch. And also our UK business showed initial interest. It's something for follow-up from our side first internally, and potentially then we might schedule a meeting with them. Okay. Or not. Let's see.
Does anyone know how they're different to granular? I know I asked this.
They are similar. The difference is that granular right now they are not doing location-based emissions, which means that what they do is market-based, so based on the renewable energy certificates. And the difference for this one, at least their claim, is based on location-based. And then we need to understand what type of databases they are using for location-based. But they have a different concept, which is avoided emissions. But in the end, they do this. It's 2 different ways for the same result, which is the emissions that you can avoid in the end. So they are similar. They are competitors, but slightly different.
And looking at the grid, you won't have always the certificates for these energy.
You don't have the racks or the geos, but you can have the location-based.
Exactly. So, but were they also the team that were a bit hesitant to present? Oh yeah, that's right. They were too busy, weren't they?
Yeah, he said no.
But they made it.
Yeah,
That's, no, I don't know the reasons why behind it. It might be something like plausible.
No, they just said they didn't have time to do it and they didn't want to do it.
Because they didn't realize
Chase
it
them,
was free
and then
election.
they said, okay.
Yeah, because they understood free election was amazing.
Yeah.
Let's give them a chance.
Just let that sit.
All right. Afterwards, late. Here.
They said they did a bucket load of every project, so they're probably like piloted out.
Yeah.
Could be. JERA and Hydro-Quebec showed interest. Late. Yeah. Lade.
In our case, it's really, for the older buildings, the condo towers in Montreal, for instance.
Right.
Now, owners are asking for charging stations and, the electrical, it's just necessarily wasn't designed for this, so it's a challenge.
Okay. Joe, you had them also on your list, Sajid. Is it?
Yes,
Are they
I
there?
think they're gonna be. Yeah, I'm still here.
No, I mean on your list.
Oh yeah, they are in our list.
Okay, excellent. Before last one, QA Tech. Jera, again, Eon and Origin.
We like them a lot. We like the pitch. We rated them pretty high. Yeah, from our side, quite
high. Still high. Okay.
We thought that was good. I mean, still there's a little bit of a question as what's the interaction between us and them, the customer, and what's the ultimate service? Because we don't do building material. We help customers with zero carbon, that type of thing. And so tonight we have to think about carefully, but it's just, hey, here's an intro, do that, and then
okay. So further
investigate.
Further investigate.
They're very good. It's very cool.
Okay.
We're excellent.
And
It's
okay.
very novel.
Do you want to add anything, Sajid, or we move to Moment?
Move to Moment, yes.
Good.
What's that?
And the last one.
If the line is getting longer, is it not going
No, a lot of respect, Sajid, a lot of respect. Moment. Moment, I actually don't know who voted, but
EDP at least.
EDP.
So we'll follow up. I think if their claim is true on the 70% cost reduction comparing with the new system, that's interesting. That from the studies that we did on these topics, with this level of capex, might be interesting to run a project. So we need to figure out the economics.
The way I heard it was 70% of the cost of a new, not 70% production.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It's a 70% reduction.
Reduction compared with the new one.
With the new one, yeah.
30%
reduction.
70% reduction.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, yeah.
That might change.
That's similar to the other guys, the one that's Ally. Yeah, Ally. Didn't I say 60?
Okay.
Yeah, I heard 70% of the new system.
yeah.
30%
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, you're
All right. Excellent.
It's either one or the other.
We have to see the
All right. So again, thank you everybody for participating. Sajid, thank you for being there. I know it's almost 3 a.m. You're here, but you're not here, but you're here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
And get some sleep, and tomorrow we have some more. So, thank you.
Bye-bye.
That's it.
Yes,